Chapter 101. Within the illusion formation, in an empty space beside the Zhuang River, Xiaochen lay on the ground like a dried corpse. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Bai's body had already returned to its normal state. After going berserk, it was extremely weak and had no energy. However, when it saw Xiaochen's appearance, it did not immediately rest. Instead, it quickly ran out. For hours later, it ran back covered in blood. In its claws, it held a medicinal fruit that was glowing brightly. If Xiaochen had not fainted, he would have recognized it. The medicinal fruit in Bai's hands was called red core pomelo. It was the most important ingredient for refining the peak-grade healing pill, the cloud-returning pill. The red core pomelo grew in the depths of savage forest. Wherever it went, there would definitely be strong spirit beasts guarding it. Bai dragged its weak body and ran to pick the medicinal herb. It was unknown how severely injured it was. Bai found the porcelain bowl that Xiaochen usually drank from. It smashed the red core pomelo and turned it into a refreshing medicinal liquid. Bai held the bowl and fed the medicinal liquid into Xiaochen's mouth. In the end, it left a bit on the arrow wound on Xiaochen's chest. After doing all this, Bai's anxious mood relaxed slightly. Its exhausted body immediately turned into a beam of white light and flew into the spirit blood jade. The medicinal energy of the red core pomelo slowly entered Xiaochen's body. To regular cultivators, consuming it directly was a taboo. This was because the medicinal energy contained in the original medicinal fruit was very tyrannical. If one was careless, their qi and blood would surge and their body would explode. A regular alchemist would refine this red core pomelo into 10, or even tens of essence-returning pills, spreading out the medicinal energy. Only then would it be suitable for cultivators with lower cultivations to consume. However, Xiaochen's current situation was rather special. His body was like a building waiting to be rebuilt. The qi and blood in his body were extremely sparse. If there was another red core pomelo, he could consume it directly. Within Whitewater City, people saw the Jiang clan's first elder, Duan Muqing, Hua Yunfei, and Chu Chaoyan walking out of Savage Forest in sorry states. This was especially true for Hua Yunfei. His face was pale and his qi and blood were weak. It was obvious that he had suffered serious internal injuries. Whitewater City was in an uproar. To think that Xiaochen could cause so many people to return in defeat. Who exactly was he? In Dongming Province, the inheritors of the 3 great sacred lands were all injured by him. This was especially true for Hua Yunfei. Hua Yunfei was only 17 years old, and he had awakened a variant martial soul. Ever since he had started cultivating, he had never been defeated by someone of the same generation. In fact, even some of the older generation would be afraid of him. Wherever the river of blood passes, there will be no survivors. When the people of Dongming Province talked about Hua Yunfei, they would think of this sentence. There was even a vague title of him as the top expert of Dongming Province's younger generation. Many of the big shots of Dongming Province believed that he was the most likely person to become Emperor Wu's successor after the Thunder King in the past 1,000 years. However, no one expected that in this small Whitewater City, Hua Yunfei would actually be injured by a superior-grade martial disciple. If word of this got out, no one would dare believe it. Instantly, the rumors about Xiaochen were brought up continuously. Some said he was the heir of a hidden clan, some said he was the last disciple of a sect, and there were even more ridiculous people who said he was a cultivator from the Great Jin dynasty. Whitewater City, Jiang Clan Great Hall. Jiang Mingxuan smacked the table violently and scolded. Jiang Yunza, what kind of first elder are you? You are a peak martial grandmaster. Yet you can't even deal with a superior grade martial disciple. Aren't you embarrassed? Jiang Yunza, who was below, said with some dissatisfaction. Even the heirs of the 3 powers were injured by him. I managed to injure him with 1 arrow. When Jiang Mingxuan heard this, he was angered to the extreme. His face turned ashen as he scolded angrily. You think you are in the right? The map was nearly obtained by them. Do you want me to praise you? Jiang Yunza knew he said the wrong thing. He quickly lowered his head and said, Clan head, I understand. I will rush back now. If I do not capture that brat personally, I will not return. Jiang Mingxuan had a sinister expression on his face as he smiled coldly. If you really cannot capture him, You can kill him on the spot. If the map really ends up in the hands of the three powers, you can forget about your position as First Elder. Jiang Yun's back was drenched in cold sweat. After he got up and took his leave, he scolded Xiaochen several times in his heart. If I catch you, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. Not long after Jiang Yun's left, a Jiang clan disciple rushed in and said to Jiang Mingxuan, reporting to clan head, someone offered a map of the ancient ruins at the stronghold of the clan east of the city, and took away 1,000 gold taels. When Jiang Mingxuan heard this, he felt joy in his heart. Could it be that another cultivator killed that brat? He quickly said, quick, hand it over for me to take a look. Before that Jiang family disciple could hand over the sketch in his hand to Jiang Mingxuan, another Jiang family disciple rushed into the hall and reported in a loud voice, reporting to family head. Someone has offered a sketch of the ruins at a stronghold in the west of the city, and has taken away 1,000 taels of gold. Jiang Mingxuan felt suspicious in his heart. Why were there two maps? Could one of them be fake? Reporting to clan head, someone offered a map of the ancient ruins at the stronghold of the clan north of the city, and took away 1,000 gold taels. Reporting to clan head. Just as Jiang Mingxuan was feeling suspicious, a few more people rushed in and reported that they had received a map of the ancient ruins. Including the two people from before, they had received a total of 10 maps, spending 10,000 gold taels. 10,000 gold taels was not a small sum. The Jiang clan's annual income was only 1,000,000 gold taels. Anyone would feel heartache when they lost 1/10 of their income. Jiang Mingxuan suppressed the anger in his heart and looked through the 10 maps in his hands. He discovered that they were all fake. Furthermore, these 10 maps were almost exactly the same. It was obvious that they were drawn by the same person. Jiang Mingxuan laughed coldly in his heart. It had already been more than 100 years since anyone dared to mess with the Jiang clan in Whitewater City. He was the one who posted this reward. Of course, he knew that there was a loophole that could be exploited. However, he did not expect that there would be someone who dared to exploit this loophole. In the past 100 years, the Jiang clan had been the strongest clan in Whitewater City. It was because of this confidence that he dared to post this reward. However, he did not expect that there would be someone who dared to exploit this loophole. He said coldly, within 3 days, find out who is behind this. I want to exterminate his entire clan. Do they really think that my Jiang clan is a pushover? A person at the side immediately left to carry out the order. At this moment, a cultivator at the side whispered, clan head, there seems to be 2 words hidden in this map. When Jiang Mingxuan heard this, his expression turned serious. He casually picked up a map and looked at it carefully. There was a faint gap between the lines of the mountains and rivers drawn in the map. It was indeed a Chinese character with a stroke and a stroke. After a long time, Jiang Mingxuan muttered to himself, this seems to be an idiot. Bang! Jiang Mingxuan clenched his right fist tightly and fiercely punched the table on which the sketch was placed. With a loud bang, the wooden table was immediately smashed into countless pieces. The 10 people kneeling on the ground trembled in fear. They had never seen Jiang Mingxuan so angry before. Even when the first elder came in, Jiang Mingxuan's expression was not this scary. Jiang Mingxuan's old face was as red as a pig's liver. He said agitatedly, a bunch of trash. Scram. If you receive such a map in the future, you will all scram from the Jiang clan. Jiang Mingxuan was filled with hatred. This person who used a fake map to exchange for the bounty did not care about the Jiang clan at all. He had a huge appetite, exchanging it for 10,000 taels of gold in one go. Furthermore, he wrote the word idiot on the map openly. It was clear that he did it on purpose. How disgusting was this person to do such an infuriating thing? It was fine if you exchanged a fake map for money. You could have made a fortune in silence. However, you even wrote idiot on it. If this was not a slap in the face, what was? He, Jiang Mingxuan, was actually acting like an idiot. He had read those 2 words out loud. This was unbearable. Jiang Mingxuan felt a nefarious fire in his heart that he could not release. The more he thought about it, the more sullen he felt. He roared angrily and punched and kicked the tables and chairs in the hall. He only felt better after he smashed everything he could see. However, when he thought about it, these things were worth a lot. Added together, they were worth at least 10,000 taels of gold. They were gone just like that. The nefarious fire in his heart could not help but reignite. In a luxurious room in Liushang Pavilion. Back when Liushang Pavilion was reduced to rubble, many people thought it would take at least 3 months for it to reopen. It was unknown what methods Kim Tae-ho used, but he miraculously rebuilt Liushang Pavilion within 3 days. Furthermore, it was bigger, taller, and more luxurious. Its business was even more prosperous. A manservant handed Jean Fatso banknotes worth 10,000 taels of gold to Jean Fatso. He said with a face full of worship, "Young master, it is as you expected." That group of people did not know what the real map looked like. They actually managed to exchange it for money. Jean Fatso laughed loudly and took the banknotes. The fat on his face trembled as he laughed loudly. No wonder he has such a foolish son. So his father is an idiot as well. I managed to recoup all the money I spent on rebuilding Liushang Pavilion. There is still more. Jean Fatso carefully put away the banknotes and said to the manservant, "Go and find someone to sell this map in Whitewater City. Just say that it was leaked from the Jiang residence. Every copy is worth 1,000 taels of silver. Those cultivators who think they are powerful will definitely go and buy it." The manservant said with some hesitation, "Are we going to sell it without any changes? That is not appropriate. Are we not going to change the words on it?" Fatso muttered to himself for a while before saying, "It is indeed not appropriate. If we were to sell it like this without any changes, it would not show off the genius of this fat lord. How about this?" Fatso's eyes lit up and he smiled. "Add the word big in front of idiot. Remember to make it more poetic. I don't need to teach you what poetry is, right?" The manservant nearly vomited blood. "You might as well not change it at all. It is because you wrote idiot that I asked you to change it. You actually added the word big. If this is not infuriating, then what is?" Finally, the manservant could not take it anymore. He asked, "Young master, didn't you always say that when doing business, you should be honest with the old and the young? Isn't this a little too much?" Fatty Jean laughed and scolded. He used the golden folding fan in his hand to hit the manservant fiercely and said, "Deceiving both the young and the old is a normal person. Even a fool would buy a normal person?" Letting out a heavy sigh, Fatty Jean opened the golden folding fan in his hand with a swoosh and said regretfully, "Intelligence, this thing is too high. It really is a kind of melancholy. It seems like no one in this world can understand me, so lonely." Before Fatso could finish speaking, the manservant quickly ran out. He felt his insides churning. If he stayed any longer, he might vomit out the food he ate for lunch. Chapter 102. Within the illusion formation, beside the Zhuang River, Xiaochun was still lying motionless on the riverbank. 3 days had passed, and his shriveled skin had filled up a little. However, he still looked as skinny as a log, as though he was malnourished. The poison had gathered on his skin, causing his fair skin to turn dark. Another 3 days passed. Dark clouds covered the sky, making it gloomy. In the blink of an eye, bean-sized droplets of rain fell from the sky, hitting Xiaochun's face with a pitter-patter. The torrential rain poured down, lightning flashed, and thunder roared. On the Zhuang River, the water level rose rapidly. The turbulent river water became even more turbulent as it flowed away. Chi-chi. The raindrops fell on Xiaochun's tightly shut eyes. His eyelids could not help but twitch. After a long time, he opened his tightly shut eyes to a slit. The raindrops seeped through the slit and entered his eyes mercilessly. It was misty, and the scene in the sky was blurry. Amidst the misty water, Xiaochun seemed to be able to see his parents from his previous life. Because of his departure, his mother wept uncontrollably every day, and his father sighed all day long. The hair on his temples had turned white. "Dad, Mom." Xiaochun muttered softly. It was unknown whether it was rainwater or tears that flowed out from the corners of his eyes. He had never felt as lonely as he did now. Despite the vastness of the world, there was no place for him to stay. In the face of this torrential rain, there was not even a straw hut to shelter him from the rain. He stretched out his right hand with great difficulty, trying to grasp the vague yet familiar figures of his parents. The bean-sized raindrops continuously struck Xiaochun's right hand, mercilessly extinguishing his fantasies. The figures of his parents in the sky slowly disappeared. Familiar figures appeared one after another in Mo City. Xiao Yulan watched him leave in Mo City, his heartbroken appearance. Yi Lan, Xiaoling and the other companions of the trial of Gloomy Forest, kneeling in front of Xiao Xiong for his sake. Feng Feixue, dressed in men's clothing, held a folding fan in her hand, and gracefully arrived at dawn. The various scenes of the past appeared before his eyes. Mo City, I have been gone for so long, do you still remember me? Cousin Yulan, did you go to the Heavenly Qin School with Xiao Jian? Xiao Jian, will your hatred for me lessen because of my departure? Feng Feixue, you first gave me the Blue Dragon Medicine Cauldron. Then you gave me the Blue Dragon Cloud Soaring Art. What exactly is your identity? Xiao Xiong, why are you chasing me out of the Xiao clan just because I possess the Blue Dragon martial spirit? Why are you so heartless towards me? The blurry scene in the sky disappeared completely, leaving only a misty mist. The torrential rain washed away Xiao Chen's memories over and over again. When all the memories disappeared, Xiao Chen's heart became clear again, and the mist in his eyes disappeared. He looked at the pouring rain, and his mind became pensive. Xiao Chen struggled for a moment and got up from the ground. He supported himself with his right hand and slowly stood up. His body staggered a little. Because he had been lying on the ground for a long time, his blood circulation was not good. His head was dizzy and he almost fell down again. After a while, all the blood in his body flowed smoothly. Xiao Chen slowly walked towards the Zhuang River, drenched in the torrential rain. A blurry image appeared in the water, revealing Xiao Chen's skinny body and dark skin. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and muttered, "A heaven-ranked martial technique is indeed not something that I can execute now. If I were to execute it again, I would probably die a horrible death." Suddenly, he remembered the first time he executed the Blue Dragon martial technique. He was saved by Xiao Yulan, and she took good care of him, as well as the table of delicious food. Now that the two of them were far apart, he did not know when they would meet again. He could not help but feel melancholy in his heart. Recollecting his thoughts, Xiao Chen found a flat rock. He hesitated for a while before sitting cross-legged on it. He took out the 7-leaf fruit from the universe ring, and a refreshing medicinal fragrance instantly spread out. A seemingly solid golden aura surrounded it, and even the rain was unable to penetrate it. Without any hesitation, Xiao Chen swallowed this natural treasure that even the black-legged snake did not dare to swallow. Xiao Chen's qi and blood were extremely weak now. Even if he consumed a red heart pomelo, it would not be enough. He needed to replenish his qi and blood. He did not have to worry about his qi and blood being too vigorous, causing his body to explode. The 7-leaf fruit melted in his mouth, turning into a refreshing medicinal liquid. It flowed through the meridians in Xiao Chen's body, circulating throughout his entire body. After one cycle, a horrifying essence energy surged out from every part of Xiao Chen's body. An incomparably vigorous qi and blood surged continuously in his body, flowing along the meridians and acupoints, heading straight for the Tianding acupoint in Xiao Chen's brain. Xiao Chen's body gave off a faint golden glow. When the pea-sized raindrops landed on it, they immediately evaporated into a mist. In an instant, the stone platform was covered in a mist. Within the mist, there was a figure emitting a golden glow. In the heavy rain, he looked extremely divine. The 7-leaf flower bloomed once every 20 years. All 7 petals needed 140 years to bloom. After another 20 years, it would bear a 7-leaf fruit. The birth of a 7-leaf fruit required a total of 160 years. During these 160 years, the 7-leaf fruit would continuously absorb the purest spiritual energy in the world. By the time it bloomed and bore fruit, the spiritual energy it contained would have reached an unimaginable level. This was the purest and densest spiritual energy. It could directly raise a cultivator's cultivation realm by 1 grade. Although Xiao Chen had anticipated the strength of the 7-leaf fruit, he had still underestimated the spiritual energy contained in the 7-leaf fruit. Faintly, he could not grasp it. Xiao Chen quickly circulated the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation, and slowly refined this vigorous medicinal energy. A surging purple mist continuously rose from the top of his head. The bones and flesh on Xiao Chen's skin and bones grew at a visible rate. His shriveled skin slowly filled up. Xiao Chen's dark cheeks looked like they were carved by a knife. They gave off an oppressive feeling of a treasured sword being unsheathed, revealing its sharpness. After the purple thunder divine incantation circulated 3 minor cycles, Xiao Chen finally managed to control the medicinal energy. He continued to circulate the purple thunder divine incantation, preparing to make use of this opportunity to raise his cultivation realm during this torrential rain. Dark clouds covered the sky, churning and churning. Thunder rumbled continuously in the clouds. The merciless torrential rain and strong winds blew increasingly louder. There was the sound of wind, rain, thunder, the rushing river, and a waterfall in the surroundings. Even further away, there were the chirping of insects and the low cries of spirit beasts. When the sounds entered his ears, Xiao Chen's mind became clear. He entered a state where he forgot himself, drifting between reality and illusion, comprehending everything in the world. The purple thunder divine incantation circulated a great cycle. The surging medicinal energy contained in the 7-leaf fruit merged with the spiritual energy absorbed by the purple thunder divine incantation and flowed into his dantian. Bang! There were no obstructions at the location of the martial spirit in his dantian. The 10 white clouds immediately exploded and turned into primal chaos. The clouds scattered and a pool of clear water appeared in the primal chaos of his dantian. This pool of water was at least twice as large as it was when Xiao Chen advanced in the past. When Xiao Chen felt this energy, he felt a chill run down his spine. Xiao Chen was incomparably joyful. He had actually advanced to peak medial grade martial master. He was only a step away from becoming a superior grade martial master. Xiao Chen had reached the point where he could advance again long ago. He had been suppressing this energy to strengthen his foundation. He did not expect that this time, he would be able to use the 7-leaf fruit to advance to peak medial grade martial master. Boom! Suddenly, there was an incomparably intense explosion of thunder in the sky. Due to the influence of the thunder, there were also countless explosions of thunder in Xiao Chen's body, clanging together. Every single one of the 700-odd acupoints in Xiao Chen's body crackled with thunder, resonating with the explosion of thunder in the sky. For a moment, it was unknown if the thunder in the sky was guiding the thunder in Xiao Chen's body, or if Xiao Chen was guiding the thunder in the sky to roar for him. Every time the thunder in his acupoints crackled, Xiao Chen would feel the energy contained in his body increase. This thunder was actually tempering his body. Suddenly, Xiao Chen thought of a record in the compendium of cultivation. After the purple thunder divine incantation was cultivated to the 3rd layer, every time it advanced, it could cause a mysterious phenomenon, bringing great opportunities to the cultivator. According to the legends, after cultivating to the 7th layer, one would have to undergo a lightning tribulation. From the looks of it today, this legend should be true. When the thunder stopped, the purple thunder divine incantation in Xiao Chen's body suddenly changed. The circulation speed actually became faster. At this moment, the purple thunder divine incantation advanced. The torrential rain gradually stopped, and the dark clouds scattered. Sunlight reappeared and the forest regained its vitality. The cries of birds and beasts could be heard continuously. Xiao Chen suddenly opened his eyes. The purple thunder true fire in his body suddenly surged out from his pores. Finally, it gathered together and turned into a dazzling purple flame, floating in front of him. After the purple thunder divine incantation advanced to the 3rd layer, the purple thunder true fire also underwent a qualitative change. It finally became an origin flame. In the future, it would no longer be a flame without a root. With a thought from Xiao Chen, the origin flame of the purple thunder true fire turned into a beam of purple light and entered his right eye. Instantly, a boundless sea of fire appeared in his right eye. It was like the entire universe was covered in flames. Finally, the boundless universe started to converge. The purple flame turned into a purple light and disappeared into Xiao Chen's right eye. His right eye regained its calm. After jumping off the stone platform, Xiao Chen felt his entire body filled with boundless energy. Every move he made contained a great might. Stepping on the muddy ground, Xiao Chen arrived at the bank of the Zhuang River. He waved his hand and a rhombus-shaped purple flame appeared in his right eye. It gave off an incomparably demonic glow. A surging flame appeared in Xiao Chen's hand and landed on the calm Zhuang River. Qi, qi, qi. The horrifying purple flame burned on the surface of the river, giving off a zizi sound. After a long time, the purple flame disappeared. The water level of the Zhuang River had actually dropped by a finger's width. Chapter 103. Seeing the might of the purple thunder true fire, Xiaochen revealed an astonished expression. He did not expect the purple thunder true fire's origin flame to be so strong. Xiaochen took out another wooden staff and placed it on the ground. He held the lunar shadow saber in his hand and raised his spirit, qi, and spirit to the peak. His mind entered an empty state. There is only me in the world, only the saber. Drawing the saber chop. Shua, shua, shua. Xiaochen chopped out 9 times and the wooden staff broke into 9 pieces. However, this feather-light wooden staff still did not move at all. It did not show any signs of moving. Xiaochen sheathed his saber and revealed a satisfied smile. This drawing the saber was finally not far from great perfection. Xiaochen took out the 7 petals of the 7-leaf flower from the universe ring and thought for a while. Then he returned to the flat rock and sat down cross-legged. Xiaochen plucked a red petal and slowly placed it in his mouth. The moment the petal entered his mouth, it instantly seeped into Xiaochen's flesh. Following that, he felt a heart-wrenching pain. There was not a single part of his body that did not hurt. It was like being pricked by needles. Xiaochen clenched his teeth and endured. This was the 7-leaf flower cleansing his bones, skin, and flesh. He had to experience this pain. Xiaochen felt like his skin was peeling off. Even the slightest movement of the grass or a gentle breeze would cause intense pain. Xiaochen did not dare to open his mouth. He was afraid that if he opened his mouth, he would not be able to resist biting off his tongue. In an instant, his face was covered in sweat. He was like a person made of water. This heart-wrenching pain lasted for 2 hours before it stopped. The instant the pain disappeared, all the hair on Xiaochen's body opened up. An indescribable feeling of comfort spread throughout his body. His dark skin also underwent an extreme change. It became snow-white like a beautiful jade. It was a sight to behold. Xiaochen could clearly feel the strength of his physical body increase significantly. He rejoiced and did not hesitate to take out another white petal and place it in his mouth. Finally, Xiaochen placed all 7 different colored petals in his mouth. This feeling was inhumane torture. Every time he sucked in a petal, the pain would double. By the time he sucked in the 7th petal, the pain was indescribable in words. Xiaochen almost fainted from the pain, if not for his spiritual consciousness being much stronger than the average person. Xiaochen feared that he would have really fainted, never to wake up again. Bang! 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 Xiaochen stood up from the stone platform, the bones in his body crackling non-stop. His bones, which had undergone marrow cleansing 7 times, began to reshape. After the remodeling, Xiaochen realized that he had grown taller. His height, which was originally close to 1.7 meters, had now grown to 1.8 meters, an increase of 1 centimeter. His face, which seemed to have been carved by a knife, became even more distinct. His originally sharp aura was restrained, like a treasured sword that had not been unsheathed. A flicker of light occasionally flashed in his eyes. His aura immediately became sharp, like a treasured sword being drawn out of its sheath, emitting a sharp, cold light. His body had already been tempered by the heavenly lightning. Now that he had undergone the marrow cleansing from the 7-leaf flowers, his body had become shockingly strong. Jumping down from the stone platform, Xiaochen did not use any essence. He only used the strength of his body and ruthlessly smashed his palm against a huge rock beside him. Bang! Countless tiny cracks instantly appeared on the rock. The cracks spread continuously. With a schwa sound, the huge rock shattered into countless stone fragments, flying wildly in the air. Xiaochen looked at the stone fragments falling to the ground and sighed in his heart. When Xiaochen first came to this world, he could not awaken his martial spirit. At that time, his biggest dream was to cultivate a strong physical body. This was because in this world, there were indeed people who did not awaken their martial spirits, but relied on their physical body to become a sage. Who would have thought that today, he had already reached the small success stage of his physical body on a different path. The bright sun shone down on the ground without reservation. Occasionally, The calm surface of the Zhuang River reflected a dazzling light. Xiaoqin leaned against the rock and took out the map of the ancient remnant that caused him to be chased endlessly from his universe ring. He had looked at this map many times before. However, he did not discover anything. The location of the ancient remnant on the map should be somewhere in the inner regions of Savage Forest. Unfortunately, Xiaoqin had never been to the inner regions of Savage Forest before. He could not make out the location of the ancient remnant on the map. Only a person who was extremely familiar with the inner regions of Savage Forest would be able to understand this map. The ancient remnant of an ancient human being would definitely have valuable treasures. Holy weapons, battle armors, high-ranked spirit weapons, ancient martial techniques, secret treasures. All of these had a fatal attraction to Xiaoqin. The ancient era was 10,000 years earlier than the Tianwu dynasty. It was the most glorious period of the human race. Sages roamed the streets, and martial emperors roamed the land. They could split mountains, move rivers, and drain seas. There was even a legend that a martial god was born in that era. He could pluck the stars and the moon, and spit out stars from his mouth. Unfortunately, that glorious period was lost in the long river of time. The inheritance of the ancient human race was not left behind. There was a gap between the Tianwu dynasty and the ancient era. No one knew what happened during that period of time. The ancient humans seemed to have disappeared just like that. Most people believed that the ancient humans were exterminated by the demons of the demonic world. After all, the Tianwu dynasty from tens of thousands of years ago was destroyed by a demonic calamity. However, aside from the orthodox three holy masters, no one knew the truth. The three holy masters had never revealed any information about the ancient era. Xiaoqin was very interested in the ancient era. This was because he had a faint feeling that the blue dragon martial spirit in his body might have appeared in the ancient era. Unfortunately, he was not familiar with the inner regions of Savage Forest. This map was useless to him. I have to find someone to work with, Xiaoqin thought to himself. When this thought appeared in his mind, a figure immediately appeared in his mind. It's him. A smile appeared on Xiaoqin's face as he said indifferently. After Xiaoqin spoke, he sent his spiritual sense into the spirit blood jade. He looked at the unconscious Bai and the smile on his face slowly disappeared. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes as he muttered, "It is time to go out. I can deal with these two matters at the same time." After leaving the illusion formation, Xiaoqin headed for the outskirts of Savage Forest. Not long after, he met a group of cultivators who had entered the outskirts of Savage Forest to train. Xiaoqin's current appearance had changed a lot compared to before. His originally somewhat immature temperament had disappeared without a trace. He had become incomparably steady. When that group of cultivators saw Xiaoqin walk past them, they did not pay much attention to him until Xiaoqin had walked a distance away. One of the cultivators seemed to have thought of something and took out a portrait. "Look, does that person look like the person wanted by the Jiang clan?" That cultivator asked the people around him as he held the portrait. Someone at the side took a careful look and said, "It does not look like it. The Jiang clan's people clearly put out a wanted youth of 16 or 17 years old. However, the aura of the person who just walked over is completely unlike a youth." Another person said, "I don't think so either. That person was obviously a medial grade martial master." However, the Jiang clan said that the person in the portrait was only a superior grade martial disciple. It has only been a few days, and no one has been able to raise their cultivation by so much. However, I feel that it is very similar. I can't explain why. In any case, it just feels like it. Someone at the side gave a different opinion. The leader of this group of people was a man with a terrifying scar on his face. As he watched Xiaoqin leave, he did not say anything. After a while, he suddenly opened his mouth and said in a deep voice, "It is indeed the person in the portrait." Although he changed his clothes, he did not change his shoes. Everyone quickly looked over. Indeed, the shoes of the person in the portrait were the same as those of the person they were looking for. After they found this clue, the more they looked at it, the more they were certain that it was the same person. "Boss, should we do it?" The Jiang clan promised 1,000 gold taels. 1,000 years of gold is equivalent to our annual income. That's right, he is just a medial grade martial master. Everyone here is a martial master. Boss, you are a peak martial master. There is no need to be afraid. The man with the scar smiled sinisterly and said, Do you think I am a fool? I sent ninth brother to follow him long ago. He left marks along the way, and is just waiting for us to make our move. Boss is indeed the boss. You are indeed able to see further than us. Everyone immediately flattered him. A ruthless look flashed in the eyes of the man with the scar. He smiled and scolded, Cut the crap. Quickly follow him. The group did not go far before they saw the mark that ninth brother had left. They immediately felt joy in their hearts and increased their pace. When they thought of the Jiang clan's 1,000 gold taels, a look of greed flashed in everyone's eyes. Where is ninth brother's mark? Why can't I see it? After walking for quite a distance, the group suddenly discovered that the mark that had been guiding them had disappeared. The man with the scar saw some ashes not far away. He had a bad premonition. Where is ninth brother's man? Where did he go? Even if he was killed, we should be able to see his corpse. I see him. Xiaochen is over there, someone in the group suddenly shouted. The group looked in the direction he pointed and immediately saw Xiaochen's figure beside a big tree. When the man with the scar heard the voices of the group, he quickly put down the doubts in his heart and looked in that direction. He saw Xiaochen standing quietly beside the big tree. It was as though he had already anticipated the arrival of the group. There was no change in his expression, and his black eyes were tightly shut. No one could guess what he was thinking. The man with the scar suddenly felt that something was wrong. He wanted to say something to stop his subordinates. However, their eyes were already filled with greed. They raised their sabers and charged at Xiaochen. Xiaochen suddenly opened his right eye and his aura changed. His clothes fluttered and his black hair fluttered. He was like a treasured sword being unsheathed. A cold light flashed, revealing its sharpness. There seemed to be a boundless flame burning in the depths of his eyes. Finally, it gathered into a rhombus-shaped purple flame. The purple light was connected to Xiaochen's spiritual sense. He had already silently planted a trace of origin fire seed in these people's bodies. When Xiaochen opened his right eye and the purple light formed, the origin fire seed in these people's bodies was immediately ignited. Purple flames soared up from their bodies. They did not even have time to cry out before they turned into a pile of ashes. Although the man with the scar knew that something was wrong, he had already retreated backwards. However, his left hand was still ignited. He decisively used his saber and chopped off his left hand. Seeing the ashes on the ground, he opened his mouth wide, unable to say anything. His face was filled with horror. A group of people who were alive earlier had actually turned into ashes without a sound. Is this a demon? The man with the scar finally knew what the pile of ashes he saw earlier was. However, it was too late. Xiaochen held the lunar shadow saber and slowly walked towards him. The forest was extremely quiet. There was only the sound of Xiaochen's footsteps and the beating heart of the man with the scar. Chapter 104. Wuxia. There was a spurt of blood in the air. A horrifying wound appeared on the chest of the scarred man. He had never seen a medial-grade martial master execute such a fast saber strike. He regretted that he had sacrificed his life and the lives of his brothers, because he coveted that 1,000 taels of gold. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. When he sent Xiaojiu to follow Xiaochen, his fate was sealed. Xiaochen sheathed his saber and stood upright. He sank his consciousness and looked at the essence in his body that had been reduced by half. He sighed in his heart, the exhaustion is too great. It seems like I can only use this move as my trump card. Normally, after using this move twice, the essence in my body would be completely exhausted. This was the first time Xiaochen used the Purple Thunder True Fire's origin flame with his spiritual sense to kill an enemy. The effects were rather satisfactory, but the exhaustion of essence was too great. There was a bag on the scarred man's back. It was the harvest of this group of people in the periphery of Savage Forest for a month. Xiaochen took it out and took a look. After he took the rank 3 spirit core and a few rank 4 herbs, he did not bother with the rest. Not long after Xiaochen left, a group of Jiang clan cultivators discovered the situation here. They quickly informed Jiang Yunzi. Jiang Yunzi rushed over at top speed. When he saw the wound on the scarred man's chest, He revealed a contemplative expression. First Elder, what do you think? Was it done by that brat? A Jiang clan cultivator asked. After a while, Jiang Yunzi said, the wound on his chest is the same as the one from a few days ago. It should be done by the same person. The Jiang clan cultivator at the side said in pleasant surprise. That brat finally came out. Looking at the temperature of the corpse, he must not have gone far. Chase. Jiang Yunzi said in a deep voice with a gloomy expression. Xiaochen headed for the exit of Savage Forest. Along the way, he met a few groups of cultivators who were greedy for money. He directly dealt with them. Some of these cultivators recognized Xiaochen. Some saw that he was alone and purely wanted to rob him. Humans die for wealth, birds die for food, survival of the fittest. Within the savage forest, the natural law of the weak being prey to the strong was reflected to the extreme. Even humans could not avoid it. Unfortunately, Xiaochen now relied on the rushing thunder saber technique and the blue dragon cloud soaring art. Within the martial master realm, he could be said to be unrivaled. Not only did these martial artists who attacked Xiaochen not obtain any treasures, but they also lost their lives. The city gates of Whitewater City were already in sight. Xiaochen squinted his eyes and looked into the distance for a while. Then he walked out of Savage Forest without hesitation. The instant Xiaochen stepped out of Savage Forest, he suddenly felt a killing intent coming from behind him. He quickly dodged to the side. Chi. An arrow carried a strong wind as it flew past Xiaochen. Xiaochen was astonished in his heart. This arrow was very fast. If not for his purple thunder divine incantation advancing to the third layer, he would not have been able to dodge it. If not for the fact that his purple thunder divine incantation had advanced to the third layer, he would have been struck by the arrow's killing intent. Xiaochen pushed his feet off the ground and leaped into the air. After he landed, he immediately turned around to look behind him. Behind Xiaochen, Jiang Yunzi led a group of Jiang clan cultivators and quickly chased after him. When he saw Xiaochen's appearance, he was slightly astonished. After not seeing him for 6 days, Xiaochen's appearance had actually undergone such a huge change. The thing that shocked him the most was that Xiaochen's cultivation had risen from superior grade martial disciple by 2 grades. He directly became a medial grade martial master in a mere 6 days. Xiaochen, hand over the map and I can give you a quick death. Otherwise, I will make you wish you were dead, Jiang Yunzi said sullenly. With his cultivation as a peak martial grand master, although he was astonished at Xiaochen's cultivation realm, he did not pay much attention to him. Xiaochen looked at the group of people in front of him and extended his spiritual sense into the surroundings. His thoughts were very fast as he quickly thought of a countermeasure. Should he fight or should he flee? There were 31 people in one move. Aside from Jiang Yunzi, who was a peak martial grand master, the others were only martial masters. However, most of them were superior grade martial masters. Xiaochen's spiritual sense detected another 200 Jiang clan cultivators rushing over. Among them, there were 3 martial grand masters leading them. If Xiaochen could quickly end this battle before the 3 martial grand masters arrived, he would be able to leave safely. This was an opportunity. Xiaochen made up his mind. He looked at Jiang Yunzi and smiled faintly. Since I will die whether I hand it over or not. Do you think I will hand it over? Jiang Yunzi smiled coldly. Do you think you have a choice? Those who dare to offend the Jiang clan in Whitewater City will not have a good ending for the past 100 years. He held a steel saber in his hand and led the people behind him towards Xiaochen. A sinister smile appeared on his face. In his eyes, Xiaochen no longer had any ability to resist. 10 steps, 9 steps, 8 steps. Xiaochen's expression did not change. He silently counted the distance between him and these people. When these people were only 5 steps away from Xiaochen, Xiaochen suddenly made his move. Lightning evasion. A bolt of lightning flashed and Xiaochen's figure suddenly disappeared. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, he appeared in the middle of the Jiang clan cultivators. Flight on wings, disordered dance of 1,000 years. Xiaochen shouted and leaped into the air. His figure kept changing positions in the air. Saber lights flickered and the crowd cried out miserably. Move back. Jiang Yunzi roared loudly. Xiaochen's figure rapidly changed positions in the air. His speed was so fast that no one could catch him. The many Jiang clan cultivators quickly ran outside. However, the saber lights were too fast. Every time the saber light flashed, someone would be struck. Blood and severed limbs fell to the ground. The disordered dance of 1,000 years was a martial technique, with a large area of effect. The more people there were, the more they could bring out its might. Saber lights flickered, and Xiaochen instantly sent out more than 1,000 saber strikes. After they landed, there were less than 10 Jiang clan cultivators who were still in one piece. The others were all struck by more than one saber strike. Their corpses had already been chopped into pieces. Thick blood flowed continuously from the corpses on the ground. Severed limbs and internal organs were scattered everywhere. The entire scene was extremely bloody. The remaining 10 people were all somewhat pale. Normally, they had killed many people. The number of people they had killed was far more than the number in front of them. However, they had never been so cruel before. If they had not run fast enough, the corpses on the ground would have been them. When they thought of this, the remaining Jiang clan cultivators felt their hearts tighten. They all felt a chill run down their spines. Jiang Yunza's expression was somewhat unsightly. He looked at the Jiang clan disciples lying on the ground. They were still alive earlier, but in the blink of an eye, they had turned into corpses. He shouted angrily, "This old man will kill you." He held a steel saber in his hand and leaped into the air, chopping down at Xiaochen's head. A resplendent saber light gathered on the steel saber. Saber light could infuse essence into the saber. It was a technique that only martial grand masters could grasp. The saber light that Jiang Yunza used as a martial grand master was more than 3 meters long. Its aura was very shocking. Xiaochen did not dare to clash head-on with him. He pushed off the ground and executed the blue dragon cloud soaring art, flying backward. Boom! The saber light struck the ground violently. Dust flew up, and a small ravine appeared on the ground. Jiang Yunza quickly withdrew his saber and condensed his aura. A resplendent light appeared on the saber. Kill! Jiang Yunza shouted loudly and chopped down ferociously with his saber. A surging saber chi shot out from the saber towards Xiaochen, who had yet to land on the ground. Xiaochen was astonished. This Jiang Yunza could actually send out saber chi. Although he could not circulate it as he wished, he had already touched the threshold of a martial saint. The might of the saber chi had not decreased by much. Furthermore, the angle of this saber chi was extremely crafty. Xiaochen was unable to borrow any force in the air, making it difficult for him to dodge. Flight on wings, one-line chop. The brilliance on the lunar shadow saber was withdrawn. It looked very ordinary, but it was actually a very skillful move without any fancy moves. However, it contained a huge force. Bang! When the lunar shadow saber chopped down on the surging saber chi, it gave off a loud sound. Xiaochen was actually not sent flying. Instead, he landed firmly on the ground. Suddenly, a whirlwind appeared on the ground. It was unknown what martial technique Jiang Yunzi used, but his speed increased significantly. He instantly arrived in front of Xiaochen like the wind. The steel saber lit up with a resplendent saber light once again as it chased after Xiaochen, who had yet to stabilize himself. Drawing the saber, there was a flash of saber light, and the lunar shadow saber quickly clashed with Jiang Yunzi's saber light. This saber strike actually arrived first despite being launched later, striking the steel saber first. Bang! The huge force transmitted from the saber caused Xiaochen to retreat 5 steps. Jiang Yunza wanted to stabilize himself, but the force transmitted from the steel saber caused him to retreat 2 steps. Is that person Xiaochen? He actually clashed head-on with Jiang Yunza, and did not seem to be at a disadvantage. Earlier, he killed over 10 Jiang clan cultivators in one move. It could be a superior grade profound ranked martial technique. This person's background is definitely not small. Looks like the Jiang clan is going to become a joke no matter what. So many people died just to capture a medial grade martial master. I heard that he has the leaked map of the Jiang clan. He defeated the first disciple of the Misty Sword sect, Chu Chaoyan, the Hua noble clan's Hua Yunfei, and the Duanmu clan's princess. Looking at the current situation, it might be true. This place was the entrance to Savage Forest. Normally, there would be many cultivators coming and going. The battle between the two immediately attracted countless passers-by. They all stopped and commented on it. When the words of the crowd reached Jiang Yun's ears, the rage in his heart grew even more vigorous. He took a big step forward and a resplendent saber light condensed on his saber once again. Boom! Xiao Chun, who had clashed with him before, did not hesitate to meet him head-on. It was still drawing the saber chop. It was still drawing the saber but arrived first. Xiao Chun still retreated 5 steps. Jiang Yunze did not want to retreat again in front of everyone. He forcefully suppressed the force transmitted from his saber and continued to rush at Xiao Chun. Jiang Yunze completely suppressed the force of his saber. This was an extremely dangerous thing to do in a fight. If he could not finish off his opponent before the force rebounded, he would immediately receive a backlash. At that time, the suppressed force would be rebounded many times over. Boom, 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 boom. Jiang Yunze's aura was like a rainbow as he hacked out 5 times. Xiao Chun retreated backward. He had already retreated to the borders of savage forest. Xiao Chun's right hand, which was holding the lunar shadow saber, felt numb from the impact. His chest even felt a slight pain. Xiao Chun's gaze was calm. He did not panic at all. He had been enduring, accumulating his strength. He did not believe that Jiang Yunze could continue hacking like this. Now it was time to see who could last until the end. Boom, 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 boom. Jiang Yunze took large strides and roared continuously. A saber light radiated from his saber, and he hacked out another 4 times. Xiao Chun was sent flying into savage forest. However, the force that he had been suppressing in his body had already reached its limit. Jiang Yunze wanted to stop, but when he saw Xiao Chun's pale complexion and the trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, he decisively gave up on this idea. That brat is only a medial grade martial master. It is impossible for him to withstand my strength. He is sure that I am suppressing this force as well. Now it is time to see who can last until the end. Thus I cannot retreat. Thinking of this, Jiang Yunze shouted loudly. He was prepared to hack out one last time, to completely suppress Xiao Chun to death. Xiao Chun's eyes were as clear as water. He noticed a crack in the saber in Jiang Yunze's hand from the corner of his eye. Then he looked at Jiang Yunze's reddened face and knew it was time. Rushing thunder chop. He shouted loudly and the lunar shadow saber suddenly released countless arcs of electricity. The energy of the rank 6 Thunder Rock demonic core was completely released. The energy that he had been suppressing all along was unleashed with the most ferocious attack of the rushing thunder saber technique, without holding back. A clap of thunder rang out behind Xiao Chun. He moved gracefully, leaving behind an afterimage in the air. He broke through the air and left behind 2 waves of qi as he clashed with Jiang Yunze's saber light. Bang! The 2 sabers clashed and something that no one expected happened. The superior grade profound rank saber in Jiang Yunze's hand was actually split in half. Side body strike. Taking advantage of the moment Jiang Yunze was shocked, Xiao Chun leaned to the side and focused all his energy on his shoulder. He ferociously charged forward. His body that had been tempered to a horrifying degree crashed into Jiang Yunze's chest. Pussy-eye. Jiang Yunze vomited a mouthful of blood on the spot. His body flew high into the air before landing heavily on the ground. The energy that he had been suppressing exploded out. After he landed, he vomited 9 mouthfuls of blood. His complexion was deathly pale, without any trace of blood. He looked at the slowly approaching Xiao Chun and muttered, "How is this possible? How is this possible? He is a medial grade martial master, and he actually defeated me in terms of strength." Chapter 105. This Jiang Yunze is too conceited. He actually suppressed the strength of his saber in battle, thinking that the youth is the same as him. Indeed, his defeat is too unjust. If he was not anxious after 500 moves, he would have a higher chance of winning. That youth's momentum is too horrifying. He is actually so tenacious, accumulating power for one strike, deciding the battle in one move. When the surrounding cultivators saw Jiang Yunze instantly defeated, they all shook their heads and sighed. They felt that it was not worth it for him. But they were also astonished by Xiao Chun's horrifying momentum. Seeing Xiao Chun getting closer and closer, the shadow of death suddenly appeared in Jiang Yunze's heart. He quickly ran in the direction of the city gates and shouted to the subordinates beside him, "Cover my back!" The remaining 10 people were the death sworn of the Jiang clan. Although they felt disdain for Jiang Yunza's actions, they did not hesitate and stayed behind. This was because their families were all in the Jiang clan. If they did not listen to orders, even if they managed to escape, not only would they be punished, they would also implicate their families. On the other hand, if they died in battle, their families would receive a large amount of compensation. They had no other choice. Xiao Chen's expression was calm as he continued walking, as though there were no obstructions in front of him. Under the astonished gazes of the surrounding people, Xiao Chen directly rushed past them. Chi. Xiao Chen did not make any movements, but the 10 Jiang clan cultivators were suddenly engulfed in a purple flame. They were instantly burned to ashes. Jiang Yunza turned his head to look at the commotion behind him. He was immediately scared out of his wits. He increased his speed and rushed towards the city gates. Dang! From the pile of ashes, a longbow with a cold glint and a pile of arrows fell down. This was the spirit bow that Jiang Yunza had used to pierce through Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen picked up the bow and knocked an arrow. He circulated his essence to his right hand and tried to draw the bowstring. However, he discovered that the bowstring did not move at all. This bow is actually able to repel essence, Xiao Chen thought to himself. After that, he dispersed his essence and used the strength of his physical body to draw the bow into the shape of a full moon. Xiao Chen placed a marker on Jiang Yunza's chest with his spiritual sense. He could clearly sense Jiang Yunza's position. No matter how much he jumped, he was unable to shake off Xiao Chen. Huchi. The arrow buzzed in the air and streaked across the sky like a bolt of lightning, chasing after the stars and the moon. The arrow that was still on the bowstring a moment ago had pierced through Jiang Yunza's chest in the next second. The arrow's power did not decrease, and it actually carried Jiang Yunza up towards the city gate. Bang! The arrow fiercely pierced into the city wall, hanging Jiang Yunza on it. The first elder of the Jiang clan, the #1 faction of Whitewater City, was actually pinned to the wall of Whitewater City by a youth. The surroundings were deathly silent. Everyone's jaws dropped in disbelief. That youngster actually pulled the soul demise bow into the shape of a full moon. Unbelievable. That's right. The Jiang clan spent a large amount of spirit stones to purchase it from the Heavenly Craft Villa. One can't use origin power to draw the bow, and can only rely on the strength of the physical body. In the Jiang clan, only Jiang Yunza can slightly draw it. Even so, who knows how many people have died to this bow. Haha, Jiang Yunza probably never imagined that he would actually die because of this bow. He used this bow to kill who knows how many people who went against the Jiang clan. Today he was pinned to death on the city wall. This can be considered karma. He should be in a bad mood. After a while, those cultivators recovered their wits. When they saw Jiang Yunza pinned to death on the city wall, his face was filled with dissatisfaction. They all rejoiced in his misfortune. It was clear that these cultivators had been bullied by the Jiang clan. Xiao Chen looked at the soul demise bow in his hand. He was somewhat surprised. He did not expect this ordinary-looking bow to have such a background. After placing the soul demise bow into the universe ring, Xiao Chen raised his head and looked at Jiang Yunza pinned to the city wall. He did not hesitate and directly entered Whitewater City. After a while, 3 Jiang clan martial grand masters led 200 martial masters out of Savage Forest in a grandiose manner. When they saw Jiang Yunza pinned to the top of the city wall, they turned pale with fright. Their faces were filled with horror. That night, there were no clouds and no stars. There was only a crescent moon hanging high in the sky. The gentle moonlight shone on the ground. Within the Jiang clan of Whitewater City, all the elders were invited to the Great Hall. Jiang Mingxuan sat expressionlessly in the middle of the Great Hall. Beside him sat 6 consecrated members of the Jiang clan. They were all martial saints. Behind them stood dozens of martial grand masters. The Great Hall seemed somewhat crowded. This was the true elite force of the Jiang clan. This was the Jiang clan's 100 years of accumulation in Whitewater City. It was also the reason why they could do as they pleased in Whitewater City. At this moment, this group of people, who were normally very respectable and had great authority in Whitewater City, all had grave expressions on their faces. The atmosphere in the Great Hall was very quiet. Jiang Mingxuan slowly opened his mouth and said, I'm sure everyone knows about what happened during the day. The first elder, Jiang Yunzi, was actually pinned to death on the city wall. A martial saint consecrated member to his right said, "Brother Jiang, there is no need to pay too much attention to this. He is just a medial grade martial master. I can squash him to death with one hand. I feel that we should put this matter aside for now. We should focus on the remnants of the ancient humans. That is the foundation of the Jiang clan's development and strength." Just as he finished speaking, a middle-aged man behind him spoke up. His expression was extremely agitated as he said, "Elder Bai, what do you mean by this? My elder brother was pinned to death on the city gate. Could it be that he died for nothing?" The consecrated member with the surname Bai frowned and said unhappily, "Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me like this? Did I say that I would not interfere? This old man is willing to personally take revenge for your elder brother. However, there is a difference in priority." The clan head did not even say anything. "What are you going to say?" The middle-aged man's face turned red. With his status, he could not speak to the consecrated elder like this. However, his elder brother had died just like that. He felt that it was not worth it. Jiang Mingxuan said, "Yinfeng, you don't have to worry too much. In all these years, have you seen anyone who offended the Jiang clan have a good ending? This time, I have gathered everyone here not because I want everyone to focus on this matter. My opinion is similar to Elder Bai's. There is a difference in priority. There is no need to pay too much attention to a medial grade martial master. The only thing I am worried about now is that this person will leak the map. Hence, I have gathered everyone here to prepare to enter the remnants in advance." Jiang Mingxuan said unhurriedly. After he finished speaking, the expressions of everyone in the hall changed. They can enter the remnants of the ancient humans? Boom. Boom. Just as everyone was pondering over Jiang Mingxuan's words, there were suddenly miserable cries coming from outside the hall. Bang. Bang. The bodies of a few Jiang clan disciples were thrown in from outside. The bodies of the Jiang clan disciples that were thrown in carried a huge force. The few martial grand masters in the periphery could not withstand it, and were sent flying. A path instantly opened up in the somewhat crowded hall. Jiang Mingxuan and a few consecrators made a move together, and caught the Jiang clan disciples that were thrown in. After a few people caught them, a surging shockwave came from their bodies and spread into the surroundings. The sandalwood tables and chairs were all sent flying. The teacups and porcelain bottles on the tables fell to the ground, clanging nonstop. It was clear that the strength of the person who made a move was unfathomable. Jiang Mingxuan casually put down the people in his hands, and looked at Hua Yunfei and Duanmuqing standing outside the hall. There was also a group of servants of unknown strength behind them. He said in a deep voice, "The two of you, what is the meaning of this? You injured my Jiang clan disciples for no reason." Then he looked at the lonely Chu Chaoyan not far away. He said in a pleading tone, "Nephew Chaoyan, your father and I can be considered good friends. Are you going to stand against us?" Chu Chaoyan smiled faintly as he carried his sword on his back. He said in a carefree manner, "Uncle Jiang, my father already told me before I came. Don't worry, I did not injure any of the Jiang clan's people." Hua Yunfei smiled coldly at the side. Jiang Mingxuan, stop asking. I was the one who injured your people. I only have one question for you. How long are you going to delay us? Don't treat us like monkeys. Hua Yunfei's attitude was extremely arrogant. He did not care about Jiang Mingxuan at all. In front of everyone, he called out Jiang Mingxuan's name without showing any respect for a junior. Jiang Mingxuan's heart burned with rage, but he did not dare to show it on his face. After all, his Jiang clan was just a local noble clan. Compared to the Hua clan, which had been passed down for 1,000 years and had an innate bloodline, the Jiang clan was not worth mentioning. Furthermore, the older generations of the Hua clan behind Hua Yunfei did not say anything. Clearly, they tacitly approved of Hua Yunfei's current attitude. With their support, Jiang Mingxuan could not do anything to Hua Yunfei. Jiang Mingxuan muttered, "This old man has already promised you. Once I confirm the location of the remnant, I will immediately head there with everyone. Right now, the location is not confirmed. How am I supposed to bring you there?" Hua Yunfei revealed a sinister smile. He snorted coldly and said, "Do you really think I am a fool? Did you not hear what you said earlier? Don't think that you can shake us off just because you have the Ji clan's support." He paused for a moment, and his voice suddenly became heavier. He pointed at Jiang Mingxuan and said word by word, "Let me tell you, this is Dongming province, not Nanling province. Even if the Ji clan really came, it would not be their turn to speak." After being lectured by Hua Yunfei, Jiang Mingxuan's face turned ashen. The rage in his heart continued to rise. He clenched his fists and banged them together. He felt incredibly sullen. What arrogant words. Suddenly, a faintly discernible voice came from the great hall. As it reverberated in the surroundings, no one could tell where the voice came from. A black silhouette flashed in from outside and appeared in front of Hua Yunfei. The black silhouette fiercely struck at him with his palm. The entire movement was done in one breath, and the speed was as fast as lightning. Many people in the hall did not see clearly how the black silhouette entered the Jiang clan. Bang! Hua Yunfei quickly made his move and clashed with the black figure's palm. The wind from his palm was like thunder. There was a loud bang. When the two palms clashed, the black figure immediately exploded. That is the Ji clan's secret technique, the external incarnation. Young Master Ji is here. When the Jiang clan members saw this, they immediately exclaimed in pleasant surprise. Jiang Mingxuan's expression also relaxed significantly. Hua Yunfei, who was closest to the explosion, was immediately forced back by the shockwave created by the explosion. A strange force also flowed into his body through his palm. It circulated through his meridians, as if it was crushing dry weeds. Hua Yunfei's expression sank, and he quickly activated the power of his martial spirit. The blood river instantly flowed into his body. After a long time, he was able to resolve this strange energy. The Hua clan's mutated martial spirit is only SOSO. No wonder he was severely injured by a superior-grade martial disciple not long ago. A man dressed in black slowly walked in from outside the great hall. His long hair fluttered in the wind, his grace was outstanding, and his eyes were as resplendent as the stars. Although he was dressed in black, he gave off a strange glow in the dark night. When he walked into the great hall, the entire great hall seemed to brighten up. He automatically became the focus of everyone. It was as though the world was born because of him, as though he was the main character. A slight ripple appeared on Chu Chaoyun's calm face. He thought to himself, Ji Changkong, is this him? There were many rumors about the Nanling Ji clan's Ji Changkong. It was said that at the age of 7 he practiced the Ji clan's secret technique, the external incarnation, to the medial perfection realm. At the age of 10 he practiced the Ji clan's other secret technique, the astral swordplay, to the medial perfection realm. After that, he had never met a worthy opponent in the younger generation. He was fully deserving of the title of the strongest of the younger generation in the southern region. At the age of 16, he had already reached the realm of superior grade martial grand master. The proud and arrogant Ji Changkong immediately prepared to go to the imperial capital to challenge the legendary reincarnated Princess Yingyu. He defeated all the young experts in the imperial capital and finally challenged Princess Yingyu. Chapter 106. Outsiders did not know the result of this battle. They only knew that after the battle, Ji Changkong immediately left the imperial capital. From then on he kept a low profile. Half a year later, his cultivation increased once again, reaching the peak of martial grand master. He was only a step away from entering the martial saint realm, becoming the youngest martial saint in the great Qin nation in 1,000 years. Ji Changkong walked in front of Jiang Mingxuan and bowed. He said respectfully, "Uncle, your nephew is late, sorry for startling you." When everyone heard Ji Changkong's words, they were astonished. They did not expect Jiang Mingxuan to be Ji Changkong's uncle. According to rumors, Ji Changkong's mother was a concubine from a local clan. Because Ji Changkong's mother was often neglected, he cultivated with all his might. He was fighting for his pride. They did not expect his mother to be Jiang Mingxuan's younger sister. Jiang Mingxuan smiled faintly. "Changkong, there is no need to be so polite. It's good that you are here. Your uncle no longer needs to be pointed at and lectured by others." The people of Dongming province's 3 powers finally understood why Jiang Mingxuan dared to be so fearless, delaying them. It turned out that he had such a deep relationship with the Ji clan. Hua Yunfei's expression changed, but he did not show it. The moment he made his move, he had suffered a small loss at Ji Changkong's hands. It was clear that he was afraid of Ji Changkong. He glanced at Duan Miqing and Chu Chaoyun before saying, Ji Changkong, I don't think there is anything wrong with what I said. The matters of our Dongming province are not for you Nanling province's people to interfere. Don't you think you are stretching your hands too far? Ji Changkong smiled faintly. Since when did the vast Dongming province become something that you, Hua Yunfei, can represent? Have you asked Brother Chu and Miss Duanmu? Furthermore, I, Ji Changkong, cannot represent Nanling province. Don't accuse me of anything. I am only here to pay a visit to my relatives. The two of them confronted each other, neither willing to back down. The people that both sides brought all released their auras. The atmosphere was extremely tense, as though a huge battle was about to break out in the next moment. CSI. At this moment, the sound of string music could be heard in the distant sky. It was light and moving, and the bright moon hung high in the sky. It was like celestial music. Everyone hurriedly looked up. A huge golden warship slowly flew over from the horizon. There was a flag flying at the bow of the ship with a large return character written on it. A man wearing a purple robe stood proudly under the flag. The Guyi Marquis King Grade Secret Treasure, the golden warship. The people from the Guyi Marquis residence are here as well. Someone below said in astonishment when he saw the words on the banner. Jiang Mingxuan looked at the golden warship above his head and felt a chill run down his spine. He didn't expect that someone from the king's mansion would come. For the first time, he felt that things were out of his control. The waning moon hung high in the sky. There were no stars twinkling in the night sky. The night was darker than usual. However, the streets of Whitewater City were packed with people. In the sky, the huge body of the golden warship moved slowly in the air, emitting a dazzling radiance. Even though it hung high in the sky, the people on the ground could still feel its boundless imperial might. The Guyi Marquis, Ing Xiao, actually came as well. This remnant of the ancient human race is too attractive. Unfortunately, low-ranked cultivators like us cannot go and take a look even if we wanted to. Why not? Aren't there people selling the Jiang clan's leaked map of the remnant? I bought one, but I have not researched it yet. When I research it, I will definitely go and take a look. Idiot, that map is fake. You will know when you go back. If I find out who did it, I will hammer him to death. Someone at the side sneered and said, save it. The Jiang family's clan had bought 10 of those blueprints and even spent 10,000 gold taels. He's the real idiot. We were only cheated of 1,000 silver taels. It's really nothing. Is that true? This person actually dared to cheat the Jiang clan. Why didn't I think of that? 10,000 gold taels is equivalent to 10 years of my income. Even if you had the guts, would you dare to go? Hence, if that person did not have a huge backer, he would not even dare to fool the Jiang clan. We were fooled. All we have to do is endure it. If he really wanted to settle the score, who knows who would be the one hammering to death? After everyone chatted for a while, the topic shifted to the Guyi Marquis' golden warship in the sky. Everyone was shocked when they saw the majestic warship. Among the crowd, Xiaochen raised his head and looked at the golden warship in the sky. He was deep in thought. This golden warship was a very high-ranked secret treasure. It came from the ancient era. Most of the secret treasures in the world were passed down from the ancient era. After the ancient era ended, the blacksmiths who created secret treasures fell into decline. After the Tianwu dynasty was destroyed, the inheritance of the blacksmiths in the continent completely disappeared. To this day, no one in the continent could refine secret treasures. If one wanted to obtain secret treasures, they could only obtain them from the ancient remnant or the remnant of the Tianwu dynasty. From this, it could be seen how precious secret treasures were. However, Xiaochen felt that this legendary secret treasure was very similar to the magic treasures recorded in the Compendium of Cultivation. There were once people who mistook his life bestowal spell for a secret treasure. Unfortunately, he had yet to obtain a true secret treasure, so he could not confirm his conjecture. Recollecting his thoughts, Xiaochen headed for Liushang Pavilion. Along the way, he had already heard that Liushang Pavilion had not moved. Xiao Chen went straight to the second floor and discovered that Liushang Pavilion's business was still very good. Even though it was already night time, there were still no empty tables. Furthermore, there were many people waiting. All the cultivators on the second floor were discussing the ancient remnant, the golden warship in the sky, and the recent idiot incident. The Guyi Marquis' golden warship is here. I wonder if the Ji clan's Black Monarch warship or the Duanmu clan's Profound Ice Palace will come. If they are all here, it will be very lively. They are all king-grade secret treasures. If they were to fight, even martial saints would not be able to withstand the shockwaves of the battle. Xiao Chen leaped over the second floor and headed for the third floor. One needed a Liushang Pavilion VIP card to enter the third floor. There were still many empty tables on the third floor. The last time he made a transaction with Fatso, Kim Taeho had given him a VIP card. After flashing the VIP card, he was able to enter without any obstructions. Of the people seated on the third floor, the weakest was a superior grade martial master. Most of them were martial grand masters. It was obvious that their statuses were higher than the cultivators on the second floor. They were the leaders of some cultivator groups. The topics of discussion were completely different from the second floor. They were all trading spirit beast inner cores, furs, and medicinal herbs. Occasionally, there would be people going to the counter to get someone to appraise the goods. Xiao Chen seemed to understand why Liushang Pavilion's business was so good. Aside from eating and gossiping, this place was also a perfect place to do business. Bang, bang, bang. Not long after Xiao Chen sat down, Jean Fatso's unique footsteps could be heard rumbling over. His smile was like a flower as he sat opposite Xiao Chen. After not seeing you for half a month, Brother Xiao, you have become famous. Now there is almost no one in Whitewater City who does not know your name. I really did not expect this. Fatso immediately sighed after he sat down. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and did not say anything. He took out the herbs and spirit cores of the spirit beasts that he had obtained from the people chasing him from the universe ring, and took them out in stacks. At first, Fatso did not pay much attention to it. However, when the medicinal herbs and spirit cores filled the entire table, an astonished expression appeared on his face. He said, "Damn it, did you dig up all the land in Savage Forest? There are so many spirit cores and medicinal herbs." "I only killed a few hundred people," Xiao Chen said indifferently. A horrifying killing intent spread out in all directions. Xiao Chen's words were directed at the surrounding people. When the pile of spirit cores and medicinal herbs was placed on the table, Xiao Chen immediately felt countless gazes directed at him. Aside from greed, there was no hidden killing intent in their gazes. Xiao Chen's killing intent instantly spread out. Everyone in the entire floor felt a faint pressure. That was a pure killing intent. Only after killing countless people could one condense such a killing intent. Exactly how many people did this brat kill to be able to condense such a horrifying killing intent? The crowd of cultivators quickly withdrew their gazes and clicked their tongues in their hearts. Jean Fatso laughed loudly and said, "You want to sell these to this fat lord, right? No problem. This fat lord will take them all. You come and inspect the goods." Fatso called out and two people immediately came to the counter. They bowed to Fatso and checked the goods on the table. After that, they wrote out a receipt and handed it to Xiao Chen. Then they took the goods and left. Jean Fatso smiled and said, "I will be able to clear it in half an hour. There is no need to worry about being cheated. When this fat lord does business, it is a win-win situation. I will not cheat anyone or anyone." Xiao Chen took a sip of tea and asked, "Do you have a secluded place here? Let's talk business." Jean Fatso looked around and guessed what Xiao Chen wanted to talk about. He said, "Follow me." The two of them entered a secluded room. After Jean Fatso sat down, he said, "There will be no third person who knows what we are talking about here." Xiao Chen checked with his spiritual sense. Indeed, it was as he expected. There was no one else around. He took out the map of the ancient remnant from the universe ring and said, "I want you to help me find the location of the ancient remnant on this map within 3 days." Fatso looked at the map and laughed loudly. "Brother Xiao, to be honest, I have a map in my hands as well. I am not sure if it is real or not. Take a look." Xiao Chen only took a glance and he could tell what was going on. He could not help but smile. I guess that you were the one who made this. I really don't understand. Why would people buy something with the word, stupid cunt written on it? Jean Fatso chuckled and said proudly, who knows? Let's not talk about this. I want to buy your map as well. Name a price. Xiaochen was somewhat astonished as he said, why do you want to buy this? You want to go to the ancient remnant as well? Since I want to buy it, I will definitely be able to sell it. Are you selling it or not? Fatso said confidently. Xiaochen thought for a while, and roughly guessed what Fatso wanted to do. He said, sure, but you have to help me find the location of the ancient remnant first. Fatso patted his chest and said, that's a small matter. Leave it to me. Knock. Knock. There was a series of knocks on the door. After that, an old man walked in. He took out a stack of banknotes and said, young Master Xiao, your goods have been appraised. They are worth a total of 5,000 gold taels. Fatso received the banknotes and handed them to Xiaochen. Then he handed the map to the old man and said, find the place on the map tomorrow morning. The old man received the map and left without saying anything. When Fatso saw that Xiaochen was a little worried, he explained, there is no need to worry. You have to believe in my ability. There will be results tomorrow morning. Come, I will bring you to meet someone. That person is very interested in you. Chapter 107. Someone is interested in me? Xiaochen had some suspicions in his heart. He did not seem to be familiar with anyone in Whitewater City who could be interested in him. Xiaochen followed Fatso to the 5th floor. According to rumors, only people of the city lord's rank could enter the 5th floor of Liushang Pavilion. The decorations of the 5th floor were worlds apart from the 4th floor. It was extremely luxurious. The interior was filled with gold, jadeite, and white jade decorations. A soft conversation came from one of the cubicles. Fatso's eyes were very sharp. He peered through the gap in the screen and saw the two people in the cubicle. He revealed a strange expression as he muttered, when did Yin Qianyan arrive? How come I did not know? He actually came to the 5th floor. Are all the guards dead? Why did no one inform me? Yin Qianyan, the heir of the Shiha province's bloodline Yin clan. This Whitewater City is getting more and more lively, Xiaochen thought to himself. Just as Fatso was about to walk over, Yin Qianyan, who was behind the screen, suddenly walked out. When he saw Kim Taeho appear, he was not surprised. However, when he saw Xiaochen, he was somewhat surprised. However, a faint killing intent appeared in his eyes. He slowly walked over to Xiaochen and said, I recognize you, Xiaochen. The ancient remnant map is in your hands, right? Hand it over. Yin Qianyan spoke boldly and confidently. He did not feel that there was anything wrong with it. In his eyes, Xiaochen was just a medial grade martial master without any status. There was no need to be so polite to him. Xiaochen frowned slightly and smiled coldly in his heart. Are the disciples of these noble clans always so arrogant and shameless? Drawing the saber. Chop. The lunar shadow saber suddenly appeared in Xiaochen's hand. It released a resplendent electric light as it chopped at Yin Qianyan. What a fast saber. Yin Qianyan was astonished. He did not expect Xiaochen to be so decisive, attacking as soon as he said he would. Furthermore, he did not expect a medial grade martial master like him to brandish his saber so quickly. Puchi. Xiaochen had practiced this drawing the saber countless times. He was only a step away from great perfection. Furthermore, he executed it at such a close distance. Almost no one could dodge it. When Xiaochen drew his saber, Yin Qianyan had already retreated quickly. However, his chest was still cut by the saber light, giving off the sound of metal clashing. Xiaochen's clothes were torn apart, revealing the golden battle armor underneath. Xiaochen was slightly surprised. It was actually an earth-ranked battle armor. The great aristocratic families truly had deep foundations. The saber did not break the battle armor. However, the saber carried a huge force. When it struck Yin Qianyan, his internal organs instantly trembled. Arclight slash. A sword appeared in Yin Qianyan's hand. He wanted to counterattack. However, he discovered that this arclight chop seemed to be formed naturally. There were no openings at all. It sealed off all of his routes of attack. Retreat. Yin Qianyan gently pushed off the ground and calmed the unstable essence in his body. His figure flew backward. When he landed, he had not stabilized his footing. However, he discovered that Xiaochen had already soared into the sky. He held the lunar shadow saber in his hand and rushed at him without any fancy moves. His speed was as fast as rushing thunder, as fast as lightning. Yan Qianyan quickly thought of a countermeasure. In the end, he discovered that aside from rolling backward, he did not have any other moves to block. He had not stabilized his footing. He had no way to block this move. If he were to jump backward, as long as he was a little bit higher, his head would be pierced. He made up his mind and immediately rolled backward. Rushing thunder chop. Suddenly, thunder roared in the 5th floor of Liushang Pavilion. Under the trembling of the thunder, all the screens and chairs were instantly sent flying. Xiaochen carried the boundless might of rushing thunder as it surged over. It was as fast as lightning, chopping down at Yan Qianyan's head. Under the vast might, Yan Qianyan felt a chill in his heart. The essence in his body circulated quickly. He used both his hands to hold the sword above his head, trying to block this saber. Boom! When the saber and sword clashed, there was a loud sound. Yan Qianyan felt his arm tremble. A huge force transmitted from the sword to his feet. With a bang, a hole immediately appeared in the wooden plank below his feet. Half of Yan Qianyan's body was immediately stuck in the wooden plank. He could not advance or retreat. Xiaochen landed on the ground and kicked out, pulling Yan Qianyan out. Rushing thunder second chain chop. The energy accumulated in the 5 saber strikes surged out in the rushing thunder second chain chop. The saber struck Yan Qianyan's battle armor, but it still did not penetrate it. Pussy eye. However, the huge force penetrated the battle armor and entered Yan Qianyan's body. He vomited a mouthful of blood in midair and crashed violently into the wooden wall. A large hole immediately appeared in the wooden wall of Liushang Pavilion. Yan Qianyan fell in just like that. At the critical moment, he stretched out his right hand and grabbed the wooden plank. His body was suspended in midair. Dang! Just as Xiaochen was about to follow up with a kick, a sound wave flew towards him. He quickly took 2 steps back and with a bang, the wooden table beside him was immediately split in half by the sound wave. Su Xiaoxiao walked out from the compartment and advised gently, "Young Master Xiao, how about showing mercy?" Xiaochen turned around and looked at this girl. He praised her in his heart. Be it appearance or temperament, out of all the girls he knew, only Yuing could compare to her. However, I don't think I know you. Do we know each other? Xiaochen looked at Su Xiaoxiao and asked seriously. When Su Xiaoxiao heard this, she was stunned. She did not know how to reply. Fatso quickly replied from the side. This is Miss Xiaoxiao. I brought you here to introduce you to her. The #1 beauty of the South, Su Xiaoxiao. Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat. He did not expect her to be the one rumored to be the only girl comparable to Yu Ying in the Great Qin nation. After seeing her today, the rumors were indeed true. However, this girl's origins were very mysterious. Because she played the zither very well, she often appeared in various places, and had dealings with the noble clan's young masters in the Great Qin nation. However, there had never been any rumors of her having an affair with any noble clan's heir. Furthermore, she did not belong to any power. There was once a marquis who wanted to forcefully abduct her after seeing her beauty. In the end, before the people he sent out could do anything, the marquis died in his own residence. Furthermore, the royal clan did not pursue this matter. Bang! Yan Qianyan shouted lightly and stood back on the floor. His face was extremely pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth that had not been wiped clean. His clothes were tattered, and he was in a sorry state. Ever since he made his debut, he had never been in such a sorry state. Just because he underestimated his opponent, he nearly became the joke of Liushang Pavilion. Young Master Yan, on account of Xiaoxiao, can you stop here today? I still have some things to discuss with young Master Xiao. Su Xiaoxiao said softly as she looked at Yan Qianyan. When Yan Qianyan heard this, he quickly thought about it in his mind. I was careless earlier, and I suffered significant injuries. This Xiaochen obviously still has some tricks up his sleeves. It would not be appropriate to continue fighting with him. I might as well return first and take care of this brat after I recover. Yan Qianyan snorted coldly and said seriously, on account of Miss Xiaoxiao, I will let you live for a few more days. After a few days, I will come and take your head. Fatso sighed in his heart, this pretentious act. Even this fat lord has to admit that I am not as good as him. He was clearly beaten up like a dog, but in the end, he has to act like he was beating up a dog. He does not want to lose face in front of Xiao Xiao. Xiao Chen smiled coldly. Did I say I would let you off? Lightning evasion. Side strike. A bolt of lightning flashed by, and Xiao Chen suddenly appeared in front of Yan Qinyan. He leaned forward and gathered all his energy on his right shoulder. Then he smashed into Yan Qinyan's chest. Yan Qinyan, who was preparing to leave, looked at Xiao Chen in astonishment. Even if he was beaten to death, he would not have imagined that Xiao Chen would actually continue to attack him in front of Su Xiaoxiao. Bang! The horrifying physical body combined with the essence in his body caused Yan Qinyan to vomit a mouthful of blood. His body flew backward and fell through the hole in the wooden wall. This time, Yan Qinyan did not have the opportunity to grab anything. With a loud bang, he fell violently from the 100-meter-tall Liushang Pavilion. Because of the Guyi Marquis' arrival, Whitewater City was especially lively tonight. The crowd on the streets had not dispersed. A figure suddenly fell from Liushang Pavilion, giving off a loud bang, startling everyone. They only saw a person with disheveled hair lying on the ground. He coughed out blood continuously, and his face was pale without any color. That person slowly sat up and tried to stand up. However, the moment he stood up, he fell back down with a loud bang. The bones in his legs seemed to be broken. There was no way for him to stand up. Yan Qinyan's eyes were bloodshot as he lay on the ground, crawling out step by step. He had come to Liushang Pavilion alone. Because he wanted to see Su Xiaoxiao, he left his guards and servants outside the city. At this moment he only had one thought in his mind. To get out quickly and find his guards to tear Xiao Chen into pieces. Isn't that the Shiha province's Yan Qinyan? Why is he here in Whitewater City? He was actually thrown out of Liushang Pavilion. Who is so bold? Someone in the crowd recognized Yan Qinyan's appearance and said in astonishment. The Yan clan was one of the few noble clans in the Shiha province. He had an innate bloodline and inherited martial spirit. How could someone beat him up like this? A sharp-eyed person looked up and saw Xiao Chen standing at the entrance of the cave. He was startled. It's Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen actually threw Yan Qinyan out of Liushang Pavilion. This fellow is too ferocious. In the day, he pinned the Jiang clan's first elder to the city wall. In the night, he tossed the Yan clan's heir off the 5th floor of Liushang Pavilion. Regardless of whether it is the rich clans or the noble clans, he does not care about them at all. When he wants to make a move, he does it. This person is too heaven-defying. The words of the crowd entered Yan Qinyan's ears, causing the rage in his heart to burn even stronger. He hated that he could not immediately kill Xiao Chen with a saber strike. His eyes were bloodshot, filled with a hateful glint. A few people saw how pitiful Yan Qinyan was crawling, so they wanted to go over and help him up. Scram, you bunch of Dongming province's lowly commoners. I do not need you to help me. I like to crawl. Scram for me. Yan Qinyan had nowhere to vent his anger. When he saw people coming over, he immediately cursed. When those people saw that they had been given the cold shoulder, they cursed and immediately ran far away like they were avoiding a fly. They had never seen such a vicious person before. Chapter 108. Haha. You are really degrading yourselves. He is the son of a noble clan, with an innate bloodline and an inherited martial spirit. Is he someone you can help? He likes to crawl. Did you hear that? Crawl like a dog. However, the way young Master Yin crawls is rather handsome. With 4 hooves on the ground, he is still unyielding. The son of a noble clan is indeed the son of a noble clan. He is indeed different. When the people in the crowd saw Yan Qinyan scolding him, implicating the people of Dongming province, they were not happy and mocked him. You can scold him all you want. As long as I crawl out you. Boom! Before Yan Qinyan could finish speaking, a bolt of lightning suddenly came down from the sky and struck his back violently. He immediately fell flat on his face. Boom! Boom! Another 2 bolts of lightning struck Yan Qinyan's body. His entire body was charred black and he fainted. Up in Liushang Pavilion, Xiaochen consecutively sent out 3 lightning descend spells before he felt slightly better. Xiaochen never liked to reason with such arrogant and condescending people of noble clans. When a dog bites you, you cannot be like a dog and bite back the way it did. You can just beat it to death. When Su Xiaoxiao saw that Xiaochen did not care about her words at all, and continued to beat Yan Qianyan down, her pretty face changed. She said, "Xiaochen, how can you be so despicable? He already said to stop." Xiaochen turned around and looked at Su Xiaoxiao. He smiled faintly. "I don't know if you are deaf or pretending not to hear, or if your intelligence is too low to understand the meaning of human language. He already said that he would spare my worthless life, but he would still kill me in a few days. Since that is the case, why should I talk about benevolence and morality with him? I am not a fool." Su Xiaoxiao was so angry that her face turned pale. She could not say a single word. Xiaochen turned around and said to Kim Taeho, "Brother Debao, don't introduce me to just anyone in the future. I'm afraid it will lower my intelligence. I'll take my leave first." After Xiaochen spoke, he immediately flew down from the 5th floor. He leaped a few times in the air and circulated the blue dragon cloud soaring art, disappearing into the night. "So cool. He has 1/10 of my demeanor in the past." Kim Taeho sighed as he watched Xiaochen's departing figure. Su Xiaoxiao's complexion paled. No one had ever been so rude to her before. She had been to every corner of the great Qin nation. Those scions and nobles, which one of them didn't line up to see her? As she watched Xiaochen leave, she stomped her foot angrily, hugged her zither and walked downstairs. After Su Xiaoxiao left, Kim Taeho came to his senses and looked at the many broken decorations on the 5th floor, as well as the big holes on the floor and the wooden wall. Immediately he cursed. "Damn it, how much money will I have to spend to repair it?" Kim Taeho stood in front of the hole and looked down. He discovered the unconscious Yan Qianyan lying on the ground. He rolled his eyes and immediately thought of an idea. He quickly called the manservant on the 5th floor over. "Yan Qianyan, that bastard, has he paid the bill?" "I don't think so. I saw that Miss Xiaoxiao did not leave, so I thought Miss Xiaoxiao would pay the bill. Miss Xiaoxiao left just now. It seems like she forgot to pay the bill," the manservant said awkwardly. Kim Taeho said angrily, "He can't even bear to pay for a girl. This Yan Qianyan is too much of a bastard. Get a few people to go down and see if there's anything valuable on him. Pluck it all out." When the manservant heard this, he said excitedly, "Should I leave a pair of underwear for him?" Fatso thought for a while and said, "If it's not valuable, then forget it. If it's valuable, then pluck it out as well. The money for the renovation of the 5th floor will all go to him." Below Liushang Pavilion, the crowd looked at the unconscious Yan Qianyan. They all felt vindicated in their hearts. Such an arrogant person deserves to be struck by lightning. Make way, make way. Liushang Pavilion is here to collect debts. Please make way. 3 manservants of Liushang Pavilion parted the crowd and arrived before Yan Qianyan. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, they took off Yan Qianyan's outer clothes. Soaring Phoenix Satin Shop. This is a luxurious set of clothes produced. However, it is already tattered. It is not worth much. Throw it away. One of the manservants looked at Yan Qianyan's tattered clothes and casually tossed it to the side. A gold-threaded belt. This is not bad. It should be worth some money. These shoes seem to be made from the soft skin of a spirit beast. They should be able to sell for a good price. Hey, there are actually some gold notes hidden inside. What brand is this pants? Help me take a look. Damn, superior grade earth-ranked battle armor. I am going to strike it rich. Hee hee, I wonder how much it is worth. In the blink of an eye, Yan Qianyan was stripped until he was only left with his underwear. The surrounding cultivators were all dumbfounded. They were speechless in their hearts. In the future, no one would dare to dine and dash at Liushang Pavilion. Even Yan Qianyan was stripped until he was only left with his underwear. Among them, no one dared to say that their backing was stronger than Yan Qianyan's. Just thinking about the consequences caused them to tremble in fear. Hey, this underwear seems to have gold lining. Should we take it off? A manservant said hesitantly. I'm sweating. The surrounding cultivators were initially venting their anger. Now they felt pity for Yan Qianyan. This fellow is too tragic. The first time he came to Dongming province, he was thrown out of Liushang Pavilion and beaten up like a dog. Now he was even more pitiful. The people of Liushang Pavilion even wanted to take off his underwear. Let's take it off. The young master said to take off all the valuable things. If he wants to blame someone, he can only blame his perverted taste. Of all the things he could have done, he chose to have gold lining. After the manservant said that, he immediately untied Yan Qianyun's belt. Damn, he is too strong. He actually took it off. Damn it. In the future, I will go and offend the Jiang clan. I would not dare to offend Liushang Pavilion anymore. This is too damn horrifying, someone in the crowd exclaimed. After the manservant pulled off the underwear, a manservant looked at Yan Qianyun's lower body. He said in astonishment, "Hey, this hair seems to be gold as well. Should I take it off?" Just as the manservant finished speaking, all the surrounding cultivators in the crowd broke out in a cold sweat. After that, they felt a cold wind blow at their crotch, like something had broken. All the warriors who were still watching immediately circulated their essence chi to the extreme. A second later, they instantly vanished without a trace. There was not a single person left on the street that was previously filled with people. Damn it, I was too excited. My eyes went blurry. After a while, the manservant said in self-reproach. Early the next morning, the sun shone brightly. Under the bright sun, there were many people coming and going in front of Liushang Pavilion. Xiaochen wore a black cloak and slowly walked in. The first floor was filled with people. Xiaochen found it difficult to even take a step. What's going on? Liushang Pavilion's business seems to be ridiculously good today. Xiaochen asked as he pulled back a cultivator who was running out. That cultivator was pulled back by Xiaochen and revealed an unhappy expression. Just as he was about to flare up, he suddenly felt an indistinct killing intent from Xiaochen's body. Xiaochen's expression instantly eased up. He pointed to a wooden wall and smiled. Go and take a look. There is a notice on the wall. You will understand when you see it. There were too many people. Xiaochen had no choice but to circulate his essence before he squeezed through. After he saw the contents of the notice, he could not help but laugh involuntarily. Notice: recently, there have been many fake ancient remnant blueprints appearing in Whitewater City. There are even some immoral people who wrote the word idiot and cheated everyone of a lot of money. I saw it with my own eyes and felt anxious in my heart. This kind of blatant fraud is really despicable. Because of this, I guarantee on the reputation of Liushang Pavilion for 100 years that I will contribute a real ancient remnant blueprint. As long as you spend 1,000 silver taels in Liushang Pavilion will immediately give you half of the ancient remnant blueprint for free. The second time you spend another 1,000 silver taels, they will immediately give you the rest of the ancient remnant blueprint. Honest with all ages, Kim Tae-ho. Xiaochen executed the blue dragon cloud soaring art. He was like a fish in water as he rushed up the stairs. Along the way, all sorts of voices entered Xiaochen's ears. This fatso is really a good person. He knows that we have been cheated badly. After we eat something, he gives us the blueprint. That's right. I spent 1,000 silver taels to buy that idiot blueprint. As long as we eat something here worth 1,000 silver taels, it will be given to us for free. Normally, I don't like that fatso, but I finally did something good. Stop talking and quickly eat. How much have you eaten? I ate 100 buns. I still need another 900 buns to reach 1,000 silver taels. When Xiaochen heard this, the circulation of essence in his body suddenly went awry. He was nearly unable to execute the blue dragon cloud soaring art. He cursed in his heart, this fatso is really inhumane. He cheated people until they were running around in circles, and they still helped him count the money. They walked all the way to the third floor. Xiaochen flashed his VIP card and entered. Only then did the feeling of crowding lessen. After all, the third floor had a threshold. It was not that easy to enter. Waiter, bring a pot of good tea and some appetizers. After Xiaochen sat down, he immediately called out. The waiter of Liushang Pavilion was very efficient. Not long later, the things that Xiaochen ordered were served. Did you see Yan Qianyun's expression when he was taken away by the Yan clan's guards? I saw it. His expression was very unsightly. It looked like he was crying. His body was completely naked. as if he had been plucked clean. When Xiaochen heard this, he could not help but feel interested. He remembered that Yin Qianyan had fainted by the roadside. How could he be completely plucked clean? Haha, if I were him, I would cry too. I heard that Fatso plucked Yin Qianyan clean for the sake of chasing after him. Damn it, any man would cry. This Fatso is too horrifying. I think no one will dare to offend Liushang Pavilion in the future. He really plucked clean all his hair. Pussy eye. Xiaochen could not help but spit out the tea that he just drank. After a while, Xiaochen finished all the food on the table. A manservant came over and led him to a room at the back. In the room, Fatso was happily doing his accounts. When he saw Xiaochen, he quickly got up to welcome him. Xiaochen did not waste any time and said directly, "You should have found the address. Otherwise you would not be selling it so openly." Chapter 109. Jean Fatso smiled and said, "I found it. It is in Savage Forest, Beast King Valley. Here is the information on Savage Forest, Beast King Valley, free of charge. This fat lord is generous, right?" Xiaochen rejoiced in his heart. He took the information on Beast King Valley from Kim Taeho and looked at it carefully. After a while, Xiaochen frowned. The interior of Savage Forest was very dangerous. There were many high-ranked spirit beasts. Even martial grandmasters could only enter from the periphery. If one wanted to enter the true core region, one had to be at least a martial saint. Furthermore, even a martial saint would not be able to move around unimpeded. Every year in Whitewater City, there would be news of martial saint experts dying in Savage Forest. According to the rumors, there were ancient savage beasts in Savage Forest. They were even more horrifying than martial kings. Beast King Valley was located in the core region of Savage Forest. It was a burial ground. When high-ranked spirit beasts reached the end of their lifespan, they would take the initiative to go there and die. That was where their faith lay. With Xiaochen's strength, wanting to enter alone was simply a pipe dream. Against a spirit beast that was as strong as a martial saint, he would not even be able to reach Beast King Valley. He would die halfway. When Kim Taeho saw Xiaochen's expression of deep thought, he smiled and said, "Brother Xiao, stop thinking about it. With your strength, you will not be able to reach there." Xiaochen thought of something and said, "I will not be able to reach there with my strength. Could it be that you have some other method?" Fatso chuckled and opened the golden folding fan in his hand. He smiled and said, "Did you see the notice posted on the first floor of Liushang Pavilion?" Xiaochen nodded. "And I saw it. I have never seen such a shameless notice before." The fatty smiled awkwardly and said, "How can you say that I'm shameless? It is just that there is a difference in intelligence between people. Let's not talk about this anymore. This is this fat lord's idea. After today, all the cultivators in Whitewater City will know the location of the ancient remnant." A strange look flickered in Xiaochen's eyes as he said, "Are you trying to muddy the waters?" Jean Fatso smiled complacently. The fats on his chubby face jiggled continuously. "That's right. The appearance of this ancient remnant treasure map has attracted many cultivators. Among them, those noble clans naturally do not care about the Jiang clan. They can directly ask for the map from him. As for the other strong cultivators, although they are very strong and are martial saints, they do not dare to offend the Jiang clan. Hence, if they want to obtain the blueprint, they can only think of other ways. This fat lord gave them a chance. Conservatively speaking, there are at least 50 martial saints who do not belong to any of the major powers that have come to Whitewater City. More than 50 martial saints in addition to an even larger number of martial grandmasters. Such a team would definitely not be weaker than any of the major powers." Xiaochen continued to think in his heart. With such an alluring place, not only would it attract some independent martial saints, it might even attract some martial kings, just that they are hidden somewhere. Thinking about it this way, this trip to the ancient remnant is much more dangerous than I thought. It was laughable that I thought I could go in alone at the start. That would be no different from sending myself to death. Jean Fatso continued his analysis. Think about it. If the ancient remnant really exists, who will have the last laugh? It will definitely be those noble clans. Whoever is stronger will be able to obtain the greatest benefits. For people like us who are not strong, if we want to compete with them, We can only muddy the waters. The muddier the better. That way, we will be able to fish in troubled waters. Xiaochen thought about it carefully. It was indeed as Fatso said. 4 lone rangers like them. If they wanted to gain something in the ancient remnant, it was not realistic to rely on their own strength to contend with the noble clans. Do you have any empty rooms in Liushang Pavilion? I would like to rest here for 3 days. Xiaochen made up his mind and was no longer in a rush. He might as well take this opportunity to recuperate. Last night, when he left, he was targeted by a group of Jiang clan cultivators. Although there were no martial grandmasters, he still spent a lot of effort to deal with them. Now, he urgently needed a place where no one would disturb him to recuperate. Kim Taeho was a very mysterious person. Xiaochen thought that with the background of Liushang Pavilion, he would not be afraid of the Jiang clan. Fatso smiled. Are you offering a refuge service? No problem. There is no business that this fat lord cannot do. 10,000 silver taels for a day. 10,000 silver taels for a day, that would be 30,000 silver taels for 3 days. 100 silver taels was equivalent to 1 gold tael. This fatso was really black-hearted, spending 300 gold taels just to stay for 3 days. Then never mind, I will just find a place to stay for 3 days. This was a classic case of being taken advantage of. Naturally, Xiaochen was not willing to leave without even looking back. Fatso quickly pulled Xiaochen back. Brother Xiao, why are you always so anxious? I have not finished speaking. Actually, I can let you stay in this room for free. Kim Taeho whispered something into Xiaochen's ear. After that, he smiled wretchedly. Brother Xiao, what do you think? Xiaochen thought for a while and said, I will give it to you in 3 days. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. All the cultivators in Whitewater City knew the location of the ancient remnant, but no one dared to go there. Although Beast King Valley was a burial ground, there might be a Beast King at the end of its lifespan that had not died yet. For a spirit beast that could enter Beast King Valley, as long as it was still breathing, it could easily kill a martial grand master. Furthermore, no one dared to casually enter the inner regions of Savage Forest. These people all fixed their gazes on the noble clans, hoping that they could open a path. Hope was beautiful, but reality was cruel. On this day, a black dot suddenly appeared in the southern sky of Whitewater City, flying towards Savage Forest. When the black dot neared, a huge black warship appeared in the vision of the crowd. There was a black flag on the warship, with a big G character written on it. The G clan's secret treasure, the Black Royal warship, is really flying over. They are going to clash with the Guyi Marquis' golden warship. Furthermore, from the direction of the Sishui Prefecture's capital, a small white dot flew over. When it neared, it was indeed a huge ice bird. On the back of the ice bird was an ice palace that gave off a cold light. The Duanmu clan's profound ice palace is flying over as well. It's over. It looks like they are preparing to descend into Beast King Valley from the sky. Damn it, I was still waiting for them to open a path. All of them are flying away from the sky. Even with your intelligence, how could these noble clans not think of something like this? They are too naive. When the many cultivators in Whitewater City saw the situation, they could no longer remain calm. They started to form groups and prepare to enter the inner regions of Savage Forest. At this moment, a few strong martial saints jumped out and called for everyone to enter Beast King Valley together. Xiaochen stood in front of the window and looked calmly at the sky. He did not get too excited about the 3 secret treasures that were flying towards the inner regions of Savage Forest. Bang! 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 Fatso opened the door to Xiaochen's room and walked in. Brother Xiao, the 3 days are up. Have you prepared the things? Xiaochen did not say anything. He took out a wooden sculpture and handed it to Kim Taeho. Fatso received it happily and carefully placed it into a spatial ring on his hand. Xiaochen felt excited. Although the 10 spatial rings on Fatso's hands were very gaudy, every one of them was a spatial ring. To be able to possess so many spatial rings, his strength and background were definitely not simple. Do you have any weapons or equipment that you can sell to me? Xiaochen asked in a probing manner. The inner regions of Savage Forest were very dangerous. He had always wanted to purchase some equipment, but he could not find any channels to do so. Kim Taeho took out 10 arrows and chuckled. I knew you would ask this. This fat lord has already prepared them for you. 10 essence light arrows, 10,000 gold taels, no bargaining. Xiao Chen rejoiced in his heart. These essence light arrows were really prepared for him. The might of the Soul Slayer bow in his hand was extraordinary, and he was lacking some arrows. With these essence light arrows, the might of the Soul Slayer bow would definitely double. However, the price was quite exorbitant. It was almost equivalent to his entire net worth. Even so, Xiao Chen did not hesitate to buy it. After all, other items could be bargained for. However, there was no room for bargaining for such a rare arrow. Every year, the Heavenly Craft Manor would only sell 1,000 essence light arrows. This was something that could not be bought even if one had money. For Fatso to be able to obtain 10, it was already very good. After paying, Xiao Chen put away the essence light arrows. Suddenly, he thought of something and said, "The Earth-ranked battle armor that Yin Qianyan wore yesterday is with you, right?" Kim Taeho said, "What are you trying to do? That is not for sale. It is worth at least 1 million gold taels. Furthermore, you do not have any money on you right now." Xiao Chen smiled faintly and said, "If I did not knock him out, how could you pluck him until there was nothing left? Hence, I definitely have a share of this Earth-ranked battle armor." Fatso said angrily, "Don't speak nonsense. Although this fat lord loves money, I definitely do not have any perverted hobbies. Those are just rumors." The two of them bickered for a long time. Finally, Xiao Chen wrote a promissory note for 500,000 gold taels, and took the Earth-ranked battle armor away. After Xiao Chen left, Kim Taeho held the promissory note and chuckled. "Now, I have completely trapped you. After all, that battle armor is a windfall." After a while, there was the sound of footsteps. Su Xiaoxiao walked over leisurely while carrying her zither. She asked softly, "Did you give him my essence light arrows?" The fatty quickly put away the promissory note and said righteously, "According to the little girl's orders, I have already given the essence light arrow to Xiao Chen as a friend." "That's good. We should go as well." In the periphery of Savage Forest, Xiao Chen took big strides and quickly headed into the depths of Savage Forest. Along the way, there were spirit beast corpses everywhere. The spirit beast corpses that people normally fought over were now ignored. Xiao Chen even saw a few rank 3 spirit beast corpses lying on the side of the road. No one bothered to look through them. Xiao Chen stopped walking and took out a small knife. He started fiddling with the rank 3 spirit beast corpses. Even the most ordinary rank 3 spirit beast spirit core was worth at least 1,000 silver taels. Xiao Chen was currently extremely poor. He even owed Fatso a large debt. There was no need for him to be lazy to pick up money when he saw it. This person is really stupid. Now is the time to fight for time. Yet he still has the time to dig out spirit cores. Furthermore, they are left behind by others. Chapter 110. Stop talking, let's go quickly. It is already very late. Later, if we find some scrap metal in the ancient remnant, we can probably sell it for hundreds of thousands of silver taels. Two cultivators who were not even superior grade martial masters walked past Xiao Chen. When they saw Xiao Chen's actions, they looked at him with disdain. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and ignored them. "I don't even know if I can make it to Beast King Valley alive. To think you are talking nonsense about the treasures in the ancient remnant. Even if you obtain it, will you be able to walk out alive?" Xiao Chen put away the spirit cores of the 3 spirit beasts, and continued on his way. The spirit beast corpses in front of him were even denser. He even discovered a few rank 4 spirit beasts, allowing Xiao Chen to make a small fortune. There would not be any spirit beasts above rank 5 in the periphery of Savage Forest. Normally, it would be somewhat dangerous. However, today, with so many cultivators charging forward, there were no spirit beasts that could obstruct them. Boom, boom. The sound of fighting reached Xiao Chen's ears. Xiao Chen extended out his spiritual sense and looked in the direction of the sound. A group of cultivators were surrounding a completely golden spirit beast. A golden holy beast. Xiao Chen said in astonishment. The spirit beast that was surrounded was a completely golden, glass-like lion. There was even a golden horn on its head. "I did not expect there to be such a holy beast," Xiao Chen said in astonishment as his heart was in great waves. However, its blood does not seem to be pure. A golden holy beast was a type of spirit beast that had existed since the ancient era. This kind of spirit beast was completely golden. Even its blood was golden. The spirit core that it condensed was also of the highest quality among those of the same rank. There had always been rumors that there were ancient savage beasts in Savage Forest. However, they did not see any savage beasts. Instead, they saw a golden holy beast. It must have been due to a large number of cultivators entering the forest. Otherwise, with the spirituality of this kind of spirit beast, it would have fled before anyone could get close. However, the blood of this golden holy beast was much thinner. Its value was not that shocking. Xiaochen was only interested in the golden horn on its head. He had never been able to find a suitable material to cast the life bestowal spell. This golden horn was the most important part of the golden holy beast, and the spirituality it contained was self-evident. Leaping onto a branch, Xiaochen leaped all the way forward. Once he got closer to the battlefield, he began to observe carefully. There were two groups of people surrounding the golden lion. At this moment, the golden lion was about to reach its end. The atmosphere instantly became strange. The leaders of these two groups were martial saints. Each of them led a dozen cultivators dressed in different clothes. Clearly, they were a group that had been put together at the last minute. Pucci. The golden lion spat out a golden flame. The flame emitted a dazzling golden radiance as it blasted towards the leader of the group on the right. The flames were extremely powerful, but the golden lion was already injured, so the flames it spat out were not strong enough. The gray-robed martial saint expert gently clapped his hands, forming a strange chi field. The golden flames suddenly turned back and rushed towards another group of people. Caught off guard, the flames instantly burned many martial artists. Zhang He, what are you trying to do? The leader of the martial saints shouted angrily. The martial saint named Zhang He smiled coldly. What I am trying to do, isn't that what you want to do? Zhou Hongyu, don't think I don't know what you are trying to do. If you did not make a mistake earlier, would this beast be able to injure me? As the two of them spoke, they did not stop their attacks. The golden lion, which was already severely injured, was on its last breath. Occasionally, the two of them would shoot their flames at the other group. The two martial saints were fine, but the group of martial grandmasters behind them were very unlucky. Occasionally, someone would get burned by the flames. Seniors, although this golden holy beast is precious, its bloodline is already diluted beyond recognition. There is no need to cause unnecessary casualties here. Indeed, we should hurry to Beast King Valley. Just pick up some scrap metal there, and it would be worth more than this. The cultivators behind both sides advised. If they continued to be toyed with by these two, they might really die. Bang! After the final attack, the golden lion finally fell to the ground. Both sides looked at each other cautiously, and did not move forward to touch the corpse of the spirit beast. Zhang He looked at the other party and said, Zhou Hongyu, our strengths are similar. In a short period of time, neither of us will be able to defeat the other. It is impossible for us to monopolize this golden lion. We have already delayed our fight for a long time. If we still want to go to Beast King Valley, we have to settle things here quickly. Zhou Hongyu thought for a while and said, All right, I only want this golden lion horn. I don't want anything else. Zhang He smiled. You should have said that earlier. I only want that spirit core. As for the remaining golden holy beast's flesh and blood, how about we split it with the brothers behind us? Zhou Hongyu nodded and said, The two of us will step back now. Each of us will send one person to collect the spirit core and the golden lion horn. How about that? That is exactly what I was thinking. The two of them agreed on the distribution of the golden lion and started to step back. Two cultivators walked out of the crowd with short sabers in their hands. Huchi! A ring of purple flames suddenly rose from the ground, forming a 2-meter-tall wall of fire. The sudden appearance of the wall of fire startled the two cultivators with short sabers. In the instant the wall of fire rose, a figure descended at the same time. With a schwa sound, the golden lion on the ground disappeared. There was a clap of thunder, and the figure brought the golden lion far away. What's going on? What happened? The thick flames blocked everyone's vision. They were unable to see what was happening inside. The two martial saints exchanged glances before they quickly chased after Xiaochen. By the time the two of them caught up, they only saw a figure flying into the distance. Zhang He said in disbelief. Could it be a martial king expert? Zhou Hongyu's complexion turned ashen. He shook his head and said, definitely not. I can feel that person's aura. He is not even a martial grandmaster. He definitely has a flying martial technique. Damn it. In the end we worked ourselves to death. To think that we worked so hard for someone else. The two of them felt incomparable regret in their hearts. If it were not for the two of them being overly suspicious, this golden holy beast would not have been taken advantage of. After Xiaochen used the gravity spell and flew far away, he stopped. He spread out his spiritual sense in all directions. After he made sure there was no one around, he revealed an expression of joy. I did not expect that I would be able to take advantage of such a big loophole. Those two martial saints can only blame themselves. Xiaochen revealed a joyful smile as he took out the golden lion from the universe ring. After a careful observation, he discovered that the fur on the belly of the golden lion had already turned completely white. Looking at its size, it should be a juvenile-like bai. Otherwise, it would not have been killed so easily. According to legend, spirit beasts with the golden bloodline could become at least a rank 8 spirit beast. That was equivalent to a human martial sage. Xiaochen did not hesitate and immediately cut off the golden lion's horn. Then he started to drain its blood. According to legend, this golden blood could be consumed directly, allowing one's cultivation to increase greatly. After using 8 porcelain bottles, the golden blood was drained. Xiaochen started to separate the tendons and bones. Then he took out a completely golden spirit core. The golden spirit core gave off a faint glow. Streams of golden qi that could be seen with the naked eye flew out from it. The dense spiritual energy actually leaked out like an unending stream of spring water. What a horrifying energy. Just the amount that leaked out is already so huge. Xiaochen was astonished. If he were to absorb all of it, how huge would it be? As soon as he thought of this, Xiaochen took out the golden spirit core and sat down cross-legged. Then he entered a state of cultivation. Wuxia. The golden spiritual energy was like a mist. It was directly sucked into Xiaochen's mouth and nose. A pure and vast amount of spiritual energy gushed in like a gushing river. Xiaochen circulated the purple thunder divine incantation and slowly digested this pure spiritual energy. The mist-like golden spiritual energy leaked out for 2 hours before it stopped. Boom! There was a crisp sound and the golden spirit core cracked and turned into countless specks of dust. When the wind blew, it completely disappeared from Xiaochen's hand. Xiaochen opened his eyes and shot out a piercing purple light. The purple light in his eyes flickered for a long time before it slowly disappeared. Every time Xiaochen advanced, this purple light would appear. Xiaochen could not understand the reason for it. The compendium of cultivation also did not explain it. Recollecting his thoughts, Xiaochen did not continue thinking about this problem. He got up and carefully felt the energy contained in his martial spirit. His cultivation realm had risen to superior grade martial master. Unexpectedly, that golden holy beast spirit core was a treasure. No wonder, even though it was a very diluted bloodline, the two martial saints did not even bother going to Beast King Valley, and directly made a move on it. Xiaochen calmed himself and stretched his arms and legs. Then he quickly made his way into the depths of Savage Forest. He executed the blue dragon cloud soaring art to its limits. Dragon images appeared behind him. It was as though he was flying on flat ground. After half an hour, Xiaochen arrived in front of a large river. As long as he crossed this river, he would officially enter the inner region of Savage Forest. However, at this moment, there was a large group of people gathered at the riverbank, cursing loudly. Xiaochen felt it was strange. He parted the crowd and arrived at the riverbank. He finally understood what this group of people were cursing about. The only bridge that connected the inner and outer regions of Savage Forest had actually been destroyed by someone. The river was tens of meters wide, and there were water monsters bobbing up and down in the water. This blocked off the group of people at the riverbank. A miserable cry came from the river. Two cultivators who were preparing to swim over were swallowed by a strange black fish. After a while, large amounts of red blood started to seep out of the river. Xiaochen felt it was a pity. He had seen it clearly. Those two cultivators were the ones who mocked him earlier. If they picked up some scrap metal in Beast King Valley, they would be able to sell it for hundreds of thousands. Unfortunately, they did not even manage to enter the inner region of Savage Forest before dying in the river. Tong! A martial Grand Master suddenly leaped out of the river. His body soared high into the air before landing on the water. He pushed off lightly and leaped up again. The opposite riverbank was already less than 30 meters away from him. Chapter 111. As long as he pushed off the surface of the river once more, he would reach the shore safely. Thinking of this, the martial Grand Master revealed a joyful smile. Wuxia. Just as he landed on the water for the second time, a black tentacle suddenly shot out from the water and wrapped around his legs. That martial Grand Master did not panic and reacted very quickly. He chopped out with the saber in his hand, and the black tentacle immediately broke apart. Pooh, pooh, pooh. The martial Grand Master regained his freedom and leaped into the air again. However, before he could fly up, countless black tentacles shot out from the water and pulled him into the water. A startled cry came out of his mouth as he struggled with all his might. However, he was still dragged into the river. Chewing sounds could be heard. Gunong, gunong. Bubbles kept appearing on the surface of the river as pools of blood flowed out. The crowd could vaguely see a strange black fish floating out of the water. Its back was covered with tentacles of various sizes. I don't know which bastard broke the bridge. It's over. There are so many terror fishes. None of us can cross. If we want to cross, we need to be at least a martial saint. Otherwise, if we do not hold on and fly over, we will be caught by the tentacles of the terror fishes. Seeing another martial grandmaster die miserably, the crowd at the shore no longer dared to try. They all cursed the person who broke the bridge. Rushing footsteps could be heard. Zhang He and Zhou Hongyu led a large group of cultivators over. Xiaochen quickly hid himself in the crowd. When the two of them saw the bridge was broken, they did not hesitate and shouted loudly as they flew to the other side of the river. They leaped high into the air, and when they landed on the water, they kicked up countless waves. Pooh, pooh, pooh. Countless tentacles flew towards the two of them in the air. The two of them sent out resplendent sword chi and shattered these tentacles. After a while, the two of them landed firmly on the other side of the river under the gaze of the crowd. Then they quickly rushed in the direction of Beast King Valley. Damn it! These two bastards, they said they would bring us to Beast King Valley. Now they actually ran away without any sense of loyalty. The cultivators that followed the two cursed out when they saw the situation. The person next to him said angrily, "What are you scolding? You're not good people either. You're just using each other. There's nothing to say. Who are you cursing? Say it again if you have the guts." Because they could not cross the river, the cultivators on the riverbank were all very angry. Since they could not agree with each other, it quickly turned into a fight. Xiaochen couldn't be bothered with this group of people. Just as he was about to cross the river, a black dot suddenly appeared upstream. It was speeding towards them at an incredible speed. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in everyone's field of vision. That black dot was actually a black ship. The people on the shore were shocked and stopped making noise. He felt that it was extremely strange. There were many water monsters in the river. So why would a boat suddenly appear upstream? Where did this boat come from? To all the new and old customers of Liushang Pavilion, your Lord Fatty is here to save you once again. A familiar figure appeared on the bow of the ship. Kim Taeho stood at the corner of the ship, holding a golden folding fan in his hand as he spoke with a smile. Bang! The bow of the black ship stopped by the riverbank. A group of cultivators were wild with joy as they rushed towards the bow of the ship. It was like they saw a life-saving straw. Chi! Chi! Suddenly, arrows shot down from the bow of the ship. The cultivators below were startled, and they all retreated to avoid them. Fatso smiled faintly. If you want to cross the river, each person has to pay 10,000 silver taels. Otherwise, there's no need to talk. After all, this Lord Fatty is just a businessman. 10,000 silver taels? Are you robbing us? It's just a trip across the river. Indeed, even robbing us is not as ruthless as you. Although the people below were clamoring ferociously, they still paid up in the end. Xiaoqun counted carefully. There were about 300 to 400 cultivators at the riverbank. Just from this trip alone, Fatso had earned more than 4 million silver taels. Xiaoqun had already expected that Fatso would rush to Savage Forest. However, he did not expect to meet him here. It was unexpected, but within reason. Xiaoqun suspected that Fatso was the one who broke the bridge. In the blink of an eye, all the people at the riverbank had left. Fatso stood at the bow of the ship and looked at Xiaoqun. He smiled and said, "Brother Xiao, come on up. I know you are out of money. This brother Fatty will give you a ride for free." Xiaoqun did not say anything. He leaped into the air and landed on the bow of the ship. The ship immediately turned around and moved quickly to the other side. The huge ship broke through the waves, causing the fish in the water to avoid it. Kim Taeho parted the crowd and led Xiaoqun to the ship's hold. He said with some pride, "How is it, Brother Xiao? My ship is not bad, right?" Xiaoqun smiled faintly. Although it cannot compare to a king-grade secret treasure like the Black Royal Warship, it is at least a spirit-grade secret treasure. Fatso was startled in his heart. He smiled and said, "Brother Zhao's eyes are really sharp. How about I bring you to Beast King Valley? Of course, with our friendship, I will not charge you a fee." Xiaoqun's heart skipped a beat. Indeed, he had guessed correctly. When he saw the ship coming from upstream, he had already thought of it. Aside from entering the water from the sky, there was no other way to enter the water. "Can you bring me to the control room to take a look?" Xiaoqun asked. He really wanted to know if this legendary secret treasure was the same as the magic treasures recorded in the Compendium of Cultivation. After Xiaoqun spoke, he took out a bottle of golden holy beast blood from his universe ring and placed it in front of Fatso. Kim Taeho opened it and took a whiff. He smiled and said, "Sure, there is no problem. However, time is limited. Don't stay here for too long." Fatso stretched out his hand and sent out a shockwave. It struck an unknown place and a large hole immediately appeared in the floor of the hold. Xiaoqun and Fatso instantly fell into the hole. Xiaoqun turned around in the air and landed firmly. He immediately felt a familiar aura around him. He quickly closed his eyes and released his spiritual sense. A huge formation appeared in Xiaoqun's mind. Every line of the formation was hidden in various parts of the ship, giving off a green radiance. Xiaoqun opened his eyes and followed Fatso to the center of the formation. Finally, he saw the secret of the core of the secret treasure. There were many spirit stones placed around the center of the formation. A few old men were controlling the flow of the spiritual energy on the ship. Indeed, this secret treasure is a magic treasure, Xiaoqun thought in astonishment. However, the people of today seem to have forgotten how to operate a secret treasure. They actually needed spirit stones to activate it. "Let's go, Brother Xiao has already reached the shore." Xiaoqun was lost in thought when he was interrupted by Fatso. He discovered that the true function of this secret treasure was not even a tenth of its power. It was only used as a transportation tool. He felt that it was a pity. The two of them returned to the bow of the ship. When the group of cultivators saw the shore, they quickly jumped off. After everyone jumped off, Fatso waved his hand and the ship soared into the sky, heading for Beast King Valley. Damn it, it is actually a secret treasure. This Fatso is too hateful. He took more than 10,000 silver taels from us. Why didn't he send us directly to Beast King Valley? When the people below saw the situation, they all started cursing. High in the sky, Fatso stood at the bow of the ship. He felt very satisfied. He spread his arms wide open and welcomed the cool breeze. He said, "This feeling of soaring in the sky is really extraordinary." Oh! Just at this moment, a large golden ship flew by quickly. It brushed past Fatso's ship and created a whirlwind. It nearly blew Fatso off the ship. Dong! Just as Fatso was about to curse, a shadow suddenly flew over his head. A wine cup fell from above and smashed into Fatso's head. Xiaoqun looked at the warship that flew over Fatso's head. He saw Hua Yunfei's figure on it. Indeed, the Hua clan's king-grade secret treasure had appeared. Damn it! When this fat lord obtains an emperor-grade secret treasure, I will kill you all. Damn it! Fatso cursed as he rubbed his head. Just at this moment, Xiaochen noticed that there seemed to be a figure standing on a tree below. He felt that the person looked familiar. He extended his spiritual sense and discovered that it was Chu Chaoyan. Chu Chaoyan carried a sword on his back, and his long hair fluttered in the wind. He stood on the tree branch and looked into the distance. Xiaochen felt it was strange. Those noble clans brought a large number of people, and even mobilized their king-grade secret treasures. The strongest sect in Dongming province, the Misty Sword sect, only sent Chu Chaoyan. Furthermore, he came alone. This did not make sense. Suddenly, Chu Chaoyan turned his head and revealed a faint smile at Xiaochen. It was like he was greeting him. Xiaochen was startled. Could he have seen me? I only scanned him with my spiritual sense. Even a martial saint would not be able to detect it. Suddenly, a sword of light appeared under Chu Chaoyan's feet. It carried him through the air, flying quickly towards Fatso's warship. Wang. The sword of light disappeared and Chu Chaoyan landed firmly on the bow of the warship. Xiaochen felt a strange sense of danger, and took 3 steps back. Chu Chaoyan smiled faintly and jumped down from the bow. He said to Xiaochen, "Brother Xiao, there is no need to be nervous. I am just here to hitch a ride." Fatso smiled coldly at the side and said, "Whose warship do you think this is? Do you think you can hitch a ride as you please?" Fatso had just suffered a series of setbacks and was in a bad mood. When he saw Chu Chaoyan arrive uninvited, he immediately made things difficult for him. Chu Chaoyan smiled faintly and walked over to Fatso. He handed over a stack of gold banknotes and said, "Your Jin clan is full of businessmen. You would not reject a business that is delivered to your doorstep, right?" Kim Tae-ho, who normally treated banknotes like his father, did not show any change in his expression. He snorted coldly and took the banknotes. Xiaochen was astonished. He thought to himself, this Fatso must have suffered at the hands of Chu Chaoyan. Otherwise he would not have such an expression. They flew towards Beast King Valley in silence. Along the way, Chu Chaoyan appeared very calm. Occasionally he would chat with Xiaochen, giving off a very relaxed feeling. However, the more relaxed he was, the more Xiaochen felt that something was wrong. He did not know why, but the feeling that this Chu Chaoyan gave him was much more horrifying than Hua Yunfei. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, there were explosions in the sky in front. The 3 people at the bow looked forward, and saw that the Guyi Marquis' golden warship was fighting with a flock of huge birds. The huge birds had 3 heads. When they spread their wings, they were tens of meters wide. Of the 3 heads, 1 breathed fire, 1 breathed poison, and 1 breathed cold qi. They were all very ferocious. Chapter 112. Rank 5 Flying Spirit Beasts, 3-headed birds. This is troublesome, we might not be able to go around them. Chu Chaoyan said indifferently after he saw them clearly. Fatso's expression was grave. After a while he said, "Let's descend, there are too many of them. I did not expect to meet such a flock of spirit beasts when we are still a few kilometers away from Beast King Valley." Chu Chaoyan frowned slightly and said, "It is too late." As soon as he finished speaking, 4 3-headed birds flew over quickly. The 3 huge birds connected together like a dark cloud, covering the sky in front of them. Bang! 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 Flames, ice, and poisonous gas rained down on the ship. A pale green halo appeared around the hull of the ship, isolating all the attacks. The fat on Fatso's face trembled as he cursed. "We are going to suffer a loss this time. We have not even reached Beast King Valley, and we have already exhausted so many spirit stones." Xiaochen thought for a while and said, "Debao, I think I'll take another route and help you lure one away." When he was with Chu Chaoyan, Xiaochen always felt pressured. Now that he had an opportunity to leave, he did not hesitate. Xiaochen circulated the gravity spell and soared into the air. Then he passed through the jade-green ring of light and flew out. Immediately, the 3-headed birds all attacked him. Flames, ice, and poison, all of them attacked him. Xiaochen executed the heavenly lightning shield and blocked all the attacks. He quickly flew forward, and the 4 3-headed birds chased after him. "Damn, I only wanted to lure one away, not all of them," Xiaochen said gloomily. The attacks of the 4 3-headed birds landed on the heavenly lightning shield in a continuous stream. Countless cracks immediately appeared on the shield. Xiaochen's body swayed left and right in the air, like a leaf moving up and down in a strong wind. Fatso stood at the bow of the ship and watched as Xiaochen lured away the 4 three-headed birds. He finally smiled and said loudly, "Brother Xiaochen, you are too polite." Ding! A faint zither sound came from the hold of the ship. 3 visible sound waves flew towards the 3-headed birds like sharp swords. Pusiai! The 3 three-headed birds cried out in pain as a severe wound appeared on their bodies. Blood sprayed out as they fell from the sky. When Fatso saw the 3-headed birds returning, the smile on his face froze. A strange look flashed in Chu Chaoyun's eyes. He looked at the ship's hold and said in shock, "Unexpectedly, Miss Xiaoxiao is here as well." With 3 three-headed birds gone, the pressure on Xiaochen lessened significantly. He executed the lightning evasion and dodged the attack of this 3-headed bird. Xiaochen checked his direction and continued flying in the direction of Beast King Valley. When he saw the golden warship in the distance, he saw a scene that would make one tremble. A person clad in golden armor emitted a resplendent golden light from his body. It was very dazzling. He held a 3-meter-long golden spear in his right hand and a 1-meter-long red short spear in his left. He leaped continuously on the 3-headed bird's back, sweeping his spear around like a god of war. He fought left and right. Blood spurted out in the air. He picked off the 3-headed birds one by one. This is the Guyi Marquis Ying Xiao, the super expert of the younger generation in the king's residence, second only to Ying Yu? Xiaochen said with astonishment in his eyes. The strength of the 3-headed birds was equivalent to a peak martial grand master. However, they were killed by Ying Xiao without being able to retaliate. This person's strength was truly horrifying. The Guyi Marquis in the air seemed to feel Xiaochen's gaze. He turned his head and a pair of dragon eyes shot towards Xiaochen like lightning. Xiaochen did not want to cause any trouble, so he immediately flew away. After flying for half an hour, Xiaochen could already see the silhouette of Beast King Valley from the sky. He did not want to attract too much attention, so Xiaochen slowly descended. He saw the Duanmu clan's profound ice palace, the Ji clan's Black Monarch warship, and the Hua clan's warship all stopped in the air. They were being held back by some flying spirit beasts. After Xiaochen landed, there were miserable cries coming from the surroundings. When he turned his head back to take a look, it was indeed a cultivator being torn to shreds by a spirit beast and swallowed into its stomach. The deeper he went, the more horrifying the spirit beasts in Savage Forest became. Xiaochen carefully jumped onto a big tree and hid his aura. He waited for the spirit beast to pass before he slowly jumped down. Now that he was here, every step was filled with danger. If he was not careful, he would be killed by the spirit beasts. Xiaochen did not dare to be careless. He extended out his spiritual sense and slowly made his way to Beast King Valley. Because the entrance to Beast King Valley was the resting place of tens of thousands of beasts, normally, there would not be any spirit beasts passing by. When Xiaochen saw a large group of cultivators gathered at the entrance, he did not rush to enter. We finally made it here. This journey was really miserable. I saw a few martial saints die miserably. It was really scary. Indeed, that Zhang He, who led us earlier, was actually swallowed by an ancient savage beast. Why are the people of the noble clans not coming down yet? The people who just entered discovered a few beast kings that were not completely dead. They did not even have time to escape before they were killed. Fortunately, I was smart and only took a look from afar. Otherwise, I would not have been able to escape. The Golden Lion King inside is as tall as a small mountain. When sabers and swords hacked at it, they could not even break its skin. Xiaochen blended in with the crowd and finally understood why this group of cultivators was blocking the entrance. It turned out that there were still beast kings that were not completely dead in Beast King Valley. Furthermore, there was more than one. Bang! The Guyi Marquis' golden warship was the first to stop. A group of golden-armored warriors jumped off the warship. The Guyi Marquis rode on a dragon-scale horse and jumped off the warship. He led the warriors into the valley. The Guyi Marquis is here. Behind him are the golden armor guards of the Marquis' residence. Every one of them is a peak martial grand master. Furthermore, they all came from the battlefield. There is no need to be afraid now. Xiaochen extended his spiritual sense to the group of people. Indeed, He could see a black aura lingering above the heads of the group of golden-armored warriors. This was the baleful aura that was formed when the stench of blood on their bodies was too heavy. Bang! The Ji clan's black royal warship also stopped. Ji Chongkong led a group of Ji clan cultivators and jumped off the warship. After a while, the Jiang clan's martial saints all jumped off as well. The Ji clan's people are here as well. Damn, so many martial saints. The 6 martial saints of the Jiang clan are all here as well. They might be the strongest among the noble clans. Bang! Bang! The people from the Hua clan and the Duanmu clan also dealt with the spirit beasts in the air. They all led their people in. Now all the people from the noble clans were present. The cultivators at the valley entrance could no longer endure it. They all followed after them, hoping to gain some benefits. Xiaochen noticed that there were some strong cultivators who were still able to remain calm and did not rush in. Xiaochen was not in a rush. He did not follow them in. He locked his spiritual sense on the group of people from the Ji clan. This was because he actually saw Jiang Muheng's figure among them. He could not help but pay attention to him. After another 4 hours, almost all the cultivators at the valley entrance had entered. Xiaochen did not wish to continue staying here. He used his spiritual sense to sense that the Ji clan had already killed a beast king past its prime. Brother Xiaochen, wait a moment. Let's go together. Suddenly, Fatso's voice came from behind him. Xiaochen turned around and saw Kim Taeho smiling as he shouted from behind. Beside him, Su Xiaoxiao was hugging her zither. Her pure face revealed a faint smile as well. When Xiaochen saw Su Xiaoxiao, he was slightly stunned. He remembered that when he was attacked by the 4 three-headed birds, he seemed to have heard the sound of a zither. It seemed like Su Xiaoxiao had made a move. Many thanks to Miss Xiaoxiao for your help earlier. Xiaochun thanked Su Xiaoxiao after the two of them walked up to each other. Su Xiaoxiao smiled tactfully. A mischievous expression appeared on her pretty face as she said, "Is young Master Xiao not afraid of lowering your intelligence?" Xiaochen blushed with shame in his heart. This girl was indeed a creature that bore grudges. He had already forgotten what he had said to her back then. Now that he thought about it carefully, Su Xiaoxiao was actually on his side. Yin Qianyun's strength was not low. It was just that he was careless at the start and suffered a disadvantage. Hence, Xiaochen kept attacking him. The most important thing was that he did not expect Xiaochen to make a move in front of Su Xiaoxiao. Fatso held the golden folding fan in his hand and smiled. "Let's go in quickly. This fat lord has to at least recoup my losses this time." When Xiaochen did not see Chu Chaoyan, he felt it was strange. He asked, "Where is Chu Chaoyan?" Fatso replied, "Let's go quickly. Don't mention that brat anymore. He left the moment we disembarked." The 3 of them crossed the valley entrance. Not long after, the huge Beast King Valley appeared before everyone's eyes. Although this Beast King Valley was called a valley, it was actually as big as a small city. Even when Xiaochen used his spiritual sense to scan the area, he could not find the end. Everyone walked forward. There were huge skeletons everywhere on the side of the road. Fatty's eyes lit up as he looked at them. These were the bones of high-level beast kings that had passed away and remained in this world. Even after thousands of years, there were no signs of weathering. Unfortunately, these skeletons were complete. Sabers and swords could not break them, nor could they be moved. Even if they saw any treasures, they would not be able to pick them up. The towering skeletons gave off a faint pressure even from far away. Even after thousands of years, the auras left behind by these former beast kings still existed in the world. Fatso pounded his chest and said, "What a pity, there are so many bones. If we could bring them all back in one piece, even if we did not obtain any treasures from the ancient remnant, it would be worth it." Xiaochen was a little confused as he asked, "Are these beast bones really that valuable?" "I don't think so. Even if these bones are very hard and can be used to make weapons, there are no tools to polish them." Fatso glanced at Su Xiaoxiao and smiled faintly. "Don't look down on the methods of the Heavenly Craft Manor. Of the 10 great spirit weapons forged by the Heavenly Craft Manor, 3 of them are made from the bones of a 1,000-year-old beast king. Furthermore, pure bone weapons are also extremely helpful to those who practice specific martial techniques. Furthermore, aside from forging weapons, These bones are also good supplementary materials for refining medicinal pills. If we find a smaller one later, this fat lord will personally move it back. There was even a spirit weapon made from beast bones. This greatly exceeded Xiao Chen's expectations. The three of them walked forward and saw a cultivator fumbling around in front of a beast bone. Chapter 113. I'm rich. I picked up a beast king's bone. That cultivator suddenly exclaimed in joy. The surrounding crowd immediately looked over. Someone at the side took a look and said, "It's the real deal. It is at least a rank 8 beast king's bone." What a horrifying spiritual pressure. I could feel it from a few meters away. Furthermore, it is just a piece of bone. Wuxia. Before the cultivator who obtained the beast bone could fade away, he was chopped in half from behind. The person who sneak attacked him grabbed the beast bone and fled frantically. When the people at the side saw this, how could they let him go? They all chased after that person. In an instant, an intense battle appeared before everyone's eyes. The last lone martial saint who passed by snatched the beast bone. After he killed tens of people, no one dared to continue fighting for it. Fatso shook his head and sighed. Intellect. How stupid must one be to tell others so loudly that the treasure is on me? Come and snatch it. Xiao Chen also felt it was a pity. They had not found the entrance to the ancient remnant, and the killing in the valley was already so intense. If they entered the ancient remnant, what would the scene be like? The three of them did not go far before they saw the people of the Ji clan in front. They were currently dissecting a beast king that they had killed. Fatso said in astonishment. They actually killed a living beast king. The Ji clan has struck it rich this time. Just the beast blood alone can be sold for millions. The value of the spirit core is even more horrifying. Xiao Chen was not too astonished. Before he entered the valley, his spiritual sense was locked onto the people of the Ji clan. He had seen how they killed the beast king with his own eyes. Among them, Ji Chongkong's resplendent sword that tore through the sky left a deep impression on Xiao Chen. That martial technique should have already reached Earth ranked. Let's change direction. The Jiang clan is in front. It is not easy for me to go over. Xiao Chen said to Fatso as he looked at Jiang Muheng, who was in the crowd. Fatso felt it was a pity. I don't know if we can go up and exchange for something. Never mind, let's go. The three of them changed directions and continued forward. A light exploded in the sky, and an incomparably resplendent meteor suddenly descended from the sky, landing in front of the three of them with a boom. After the dust settled, Ji Chongkong appeared before the three of them. His long black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were as deep as the starry sky. His powerful aura pressed down on the three of them as he slowly walked towards them. Xiao Chen and the other two felt a pressure. They could not help but take a step back. They looked cautiously at Ji Chongkong, who had suddenly appeared in front of them. Ji Chongkong's face was like jade. He was very handsome. He pointed at Xiao Chen and said indifferently, "You stay. The two of you can leave." His voice was not loud, and he spoke slowly without any killing intent. However, his words revealed an aura that could not be rejected, and no one could question his words. Pooh, pooh, pooh. Jiang Muheng led a group of Jiang clan martial grandmasters and rushed over. He stood beside Ji Chongkong and said, "Cousin, that damn Fatso must stay behind as well." Ooh. Kim Taeho laughed coldly. The crowd only heard the sound of the wind and Fatso picked up Jiang Muheng. In just an instant, the crowd even thought that Jiang Muheng had run into Fatso's hands by himself. Pa! Kim Taeho grabbed Jiang Muheng's collar with his left hand and lifted him up violently. His right hand held the golden folding fan and gave him a tight slap. Although I'm fat, that doesn't mean that anyone can say that, especially someone like you. Pa! Pa! After Fatso spoke, he gave Jiang Muheng another 2 tight slaps. Jiang Muheng's right cheek instantly swelled up, and blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. Damn you, Fatso. Put me down quickly. Otherwise, I will make you wish you were dead. I will, Before Jiang Muheng could finish speaking, the fatty ruthlessly flung him to the ground. His thick legs stomped on Jiang Muheng's face, ruthlessly stomping on it a few times. Seeing Ji Chongkong block the few of them, the cultivators at the side quickly watched from afar. When they saw Fatso suddenly flipping out, Everyone felt incomparably shocked in their hearts. Fatso flipped out. He is indeed tyrannical. He does not even care about Ji Chongkong and directly stepped on his cousin. Haha. What does Jiang Muhing count for? Even the fur of Shiha province's Yen clan's Yen Qianyan was stripped by Fatso. Do you think there is anything he cannot do? Looks like the rumors are true. I wonder if Jiang Muheng will be stripped. If that is the case, it would be funny. When the words of the crowd reached Fatso's ears, Fatso even felt like dying. He wanted to explain that this was just a rumor, but this was clearly not the time. Did you see Fatso's expression? It looks like he admitted it. Damn it, how savage. You still dare to call him Fatso? Didn't you hear what he said? Whoever dares to call him Fatso, he will strip off all his fur. You are finished. You are so loud that Fatso will definitely hear you. Quickly deal with it yourself. Damn it, I'm not going to say anymore. If I continue, I might really be finished. When Xiao Chun and Su Xiaoxiao heard this, they both subconsciously took 3 steps back, putting some distance between them and Fatso. Kim Tae-ho had a wronged expression on his face. He no longer had the tyrannical air he had earlier. He complained bitterly. Can you guys be more loyal? Kim Tae-ho, quickly let go of my son. I do not have any grudges with you. I will not take back the street in the east of the city. I will not make things difficult for you. The Jiang clan's clan head, Jiang Mingxuan, hurried over and shouted when he saw Jiang Muheng being stepped on by Kim Tae-ho. When Jiang Muheng heard Jiang Mingxuan's voice, he became very agitated. His head struggled under Fatso's foot. Finally, he opened his mouth and took a deep breath. He said loudly, Father, you have to save me. This Fatso is a pervert. Yen Qianyan was. Fatso was extremely frustrated. When he heard Jiang Muheng's words, he kicked him into the air. Then he used his palm as a saber and knocked him unconscious. Jiang Mingxuan felt very anxious and rushed forward. Fatso grabbed Jiang Muheng's neck and glared at Jiang Mingxuan. Feeling that murderous gaze, Jiang Mingxuan quickly stopped. Boom. Ji Chongkong, who had been silent all this while, suddenly moved. A black figure suddenly appeared in front of Fatso. That figure used his fingers as a sword and aimed for Kim Tae-ho's eyes. Ooh. The golden folding fan in Kim Tae-ho's hand opened up with a schwa sound. A golden figure appeared behind him. That figure was dressed like a scholar. He was also holding a golden folding fan in his hand. The instant the scholar appeared, the might of an ancient sage spread out in all directions. The surrounding cultivators all felt a righteous aura. Boom. The scholar gently waved the folding fan in his hand, sending out a wave of energy. The black figure in front of the fatty was immediately sent flying backward, exploding into a bloody shadow in the air. That is the weapon of an ancient sage. There is actually a trace of a Tao image left in it. How horrifying. Ji Chongkong's external incarnation was actually destroyed in an instant with just a gentle wave. Ji Chongkong's expression did not change. However, he was somewhat astonished in his heart. He did not expect that this incomparably tacky Fatso would actually have a treasure on him. Furthermore, looking at his attire, those gorgeous ornaments could very well be treasures. Fatso carried Jiang Muheng on his shoulder. He looked at Ji Chongkong and said, I do not care about the grudges between you and Xiaochen. After we leave Beast King Valley, you can do whatever you want. However, as long as he is in Beast King Valley, he is my companion. Leave Jiang Muheng with me for a period of time. After we leave Beast King Valley, I will return him to you. After Kim Tae-ho spoke, he brought Xiaochen and Ji Chongkong and left in another direction. Jiang Mingxian and the others looked at Xiaochen's back. Their hearts burned with rage, but there was nothing they could do. If they tried to forcefully take down this group of people, Jiang Muheng would definitely be killed immediately. This Fatso is really tyrannical. He is not even afraid of Ji Chongkong. What a pity for the Jiang clan. They only have one son, and he is going to be ruined by Fatso. Of all the people they could offend, they just had to offend this Fatso. Let's not talk about this anymore. That Fatso has not gone far yet. Lower your voice. In a secluded area of Beast King Valley, Kim Tae-ho casually tossed Jiang Muheng to the ground and started fiddling with his body. Xiao Chun and Su Xiaoxiao thought of the rumors they heard earlier. The two of them tacitly moved to the side. After a while Fatso scolded, "Pauper, you have nothing." Seeing Xiaochun and Su Xiaoxiao move to the side, Fatso quickly carried Jiang Muheng and chased after them. He explained, "I say, can you not look at me with such a strange gaze? Those are just rumors." Xiaochun smiled faintly, "I know. It is just that there are differences in intelligence between people. They are unable to understand you." "That's more like it," Fatso said happily. After a while, he felt that something was wrong. "Why do I feel that your words are mocking me?" Xiaochun listened for a while and said, "Stop messing around. I heard the sounds of fighting. Maybe some noble clan is killing the Beast King. Let's see if we can take advantage of it." Fatso looked in the direction Xiaochun pointed and listened for a while. He said, "Why did I not hear anything? Never mind, I believe you. However, what about the person I am carrying?" Xiaochun thought for a while before placing the universe ring on Jiang Muheng's body. With a thought, he stored Jiang Muheng inside with a so sound. When Kim Taeho and Su Xiaoxiao saw this, they were astonished. Fatso said in astonishment, "What kind of spatial ring is this? How can it store a living person?" Xiaochun did not explain much. Just treat it as a secret treasure. Xiaochun led the way forward. Along the way, they could see battles taking place everywhere. As long as they found a piece of Beast King bone, there would be a fight over it. Fatso was a little depressed as he said, "There are so many people picking up the scattered Beast King bones. Why can't this fat lord find any?" Xiaochun smiled and did not say anything. He kept his spiritual sense extended out. He saw that Fatso had stepped on at least 3 pieces of Beast King bones, but he did not discover any. Bang! Bang! The 3 of them finally saw the source of the sounds of fighting. The Guyi Marquis Ing Xiao was leading his 200 golden armored warriors, fighting against a golden lion king the size of a small mountain. Xiaochun's heart skipped a beat. He thought back to the infant golden lion that he met in the periphery of Savage Forest. Just the spiritual energy contained in the infant's spirit core allowed Xiaochun to raise his cultivation by 1 realm. Chapter 114. This golden lion king was the size of a small mountain. The amount of spiritual energy contained in its inner core was definitely horrifying to a shocking level. Fatso's eyes lit up as he said excitedly, "Golden holy beast. It really is a golden holy beast." Su Xiaoxiao countered, "Don't think too much. The Guyi Marquis' 200 golden armored warriors are all peak martial grand masters. Furthermore, they have fought on the battlefield before. The most important thing is that they are wearing earth-ranked battle armor and superior-grade profound-ranked spirit weapons forged by the heavenly craftsmanner. Although they do not have a martial saint, they should be the strongest of all the powers." Xiaochun was incomparably astonished. Over 200 elite spirit weapons and battle armor. How horrifying was that? The battle armor that Yan Qianyan wore was only earth-ranked. Furthermore, he was a scion of a noble clan. These 200 golden armored warriors were actually all wearing earth-ranked battle armor. Just thinking about it caused one to tremble in fear. No wonder the Guyi Marquis only brought 200 golden armored warriors. With just this, he could move unhindered in Beast King Valley. Ha! As the 3 of them were speaking, the Guyi Marquis, Ing Xiao, who was riding on his dragon scale horse, suddenly shouted loudly. He galloped towards the golden lion king, kicking up a cloud of dust. Man and horse became one. He moved as fast as lightning, disappearing in an instant. In the next moment, he arrived in front of the golden lion king. The 3-meter-long golden spear in his right hand carried a huge force as it smashed violently into the golden lion king's chest. Boom! The 3 of them saw an extremely majestic scene. The Guyi Marquis riding on his dragon scale horse was only 2 meters tall. In front of the small mountain-like lion king, he was pitifully small. However, at this moment he was able to send the golden lion king flying. This was a very terrifying spear power. How strong was the power contained in the spear to be able to send the golden lion king, which was like a small mountain, flying? Bang! The golden lion king landed heavily on the ground and gave off a loud sound, causing the ground to tremble. Before it could stand up, the 200 golden armored warriors under the Guyi Marquis immediately surrounded it. Xiaochun felt that it was a pity. He knew that in the face of this absolute power he had no chance at all. He quickly led Fatso and the others forward. Before Xiaochen left, he felt the Guyi Marquis's lightning-like gaze looking at him again. After the three of them walked for a long time, Fatso grumbled. "This Beast King Valley is too big. If we continue searching like this, who knows how long it will take to find the entrance to the ancient remnant." Rumble. As Fatso was speaking, a series of continuous loud noises came from a distant mountain wall. A gust of cold wind suddenly swept through the entire valley. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts. The entrance to the ancient remnant must have opened. It's the Duanmu family. I saw them heading in that direction. At this moment, everyone stopped what they were doing and looked at the mountain wall in the distance. Thud, thud, thud. The Guyi Marquis rode on his dragon-scale horse and led the 200 golden armored warriors past the three of them. They actually gave up on the Golden Lion King that they were about to obtain and headed straight for the mountain wall. Everyone's expression became extremely excited as they headed for the mountain wall. They were afraid that if they were too slow, the treasures in the ancient remnant would be snatched away by others. Xiaochen thought of something and turned around. He said, "Let's go and take a look at that Golden Lion King. There is no rush to go to the ancient remnant." Fatso chuckled. "That's exactly what I was thinking." When the three of them returned to the place where the Golden Lion King was, they saw dozens of cultivators had the same thoughts as them. They were currently surrounding and killing the Golden Lion King. Many martial masters hacked at the Golden Lion King with their weapons. Metallic sounds resounded continuously. Its golden skin was like metal. There was not even a scratch on it. Wuxia. A strand of golden flame descended from the sky. The cultivators on the ground were immediately burned to a pile of ashes. They did not even have the chance to resist. When the remaining cultivators saw the situation, they all gave up. Xiaochen somewhat understood the reason why the Guyi Marquis gave up. Although this Golden Lion King was past its prime, and its movements were slow, its skin was like steel. Sabers and arrows were unable to injure it at all. When Kim Taeho saw the situation, he frowned and said, "Why is this fellow's skin so thick? How are we going to attack it?" Xiaochen measured carefully. This Golden Lion King was about 50 meters tall. He looked at the place where the Guyi Marquis's spear had pierced at. There was a shallow wound there, and a trace of faint golden blood was slowly flowing out. Su Xiaoxiao, who had been silent all this while, suddenly opened her mouth. "There is still a chance. The life force in its body is rapidly disappearing. Furthermore, its internal injuries are very severe." Although the Guyi Marquis's group did not manage to injure its skin, the force of the spirit weapons managed to injure its body. Xiaochen took out the Soul Slayer bow from the universe ring and knocked an essence light arrow. He drew the bow into the shape of a full moon and aimed the arrow at the small wound on the Golden Lion King's chest. The arrow gave off a faint glow. Xiaochen could feel the horrifying force contained in it. This essence light arrow was able to damage his superior grade profound ranked battle armor in the past. It should not disappoint him now. Wuxia. The essence light arrow buzzed in the air and shot out. In an instant, it pierced through the Golden Lion King's body, causing a stream of golden blood to spurt out. Ding, ding. Yellow Spring's 9 Death Song. Yellow Spring's 9 Death Song. Su Xiaoxiao gently stroked her zither, and a majestic tune of a powerful army burst out. The grass and trees in the valley trembled and the wind howled. It was as though there were thousands of soldiers and horses roaring, reverberating in the valley. Within the valley, countless heroic spirits appeared behind Su Xiaoxiao. Su Xiaoxiao's zither music rose continuously. The army of heroic spirits rode on horses, as though they were coming out from the underworld river, rushing towards the Golden Lion King. Xiaochen executed the lightning evasion and flashed into the air. He caught the essence light arrow in his hand, and the lunar shadow saber suddenly appeared in his hand. Countless arcs of electricity leaped around it. Pusiai. Xiaochen held the lunar shadow saber and stabbed it violently into the wound that the essence light arrow pierced through. Instantly, golden blood spurted out and splashed onto Xiaochen's face. The electricity on the lunar shadow saber directly entered the Golden Lion King's body. The Golden Lion King cried out in pain, and its body trembled violently. A huge force came from its back, and Xiaochen was immediately flung off. The Golden Lion King spat out a huge clump of golden flames at Su Xiaoxiao. Then, it sprinted as though it was in the final moments of its life. Its speed was incomparably agile. Fatso opened the golden folding fan in his hand, and a golden figure appeared again. He fanned the flames ferociously and sent them flying. The army of heroic spirits brandished their spears and sabers, and pierced through the Golden Lion King's body. Every time a heroic spirit pierced through it, the Golden Lion King's speed would slow down. It was as though a portion of its life force was being drained away. When the army of heroic spirits pierced through the Golden Lion King's body, it came to a complete stop. It was only 2 meters away from Su Xiaoxiao. Su Xiaoxiao's hands, which were playing the zither, suddenly stopped. The indistinct tune reverberating in the valley suddenly turned silent. Even the sound of the wind seemed to have stopped. Dong. A high-pitched tune suddenly resounded and a strong wind blew. Su Xiaoxiao's clothes fluttered and her fine black hair fluttered. A formless energy sent the Golden Lion King flying. Descending divine dragon chop. High up in the sky, Xiaochen streaked through the air like a meteor and struck the back of the Golden Lion King. There was a loud bang, and the mountain-like body of the Golden Lion King knelt down. The Golden Lion King let out a painful wail. The 3 of them could feel its life force rapidly draining away. This Golden Lion King, which was already past its prime, was about to pass away. Just when the 3 of them were feeling relaxed, a human figure suddenly flew over from a distant place. He was like a long sword as he streaked across the sky with a terrifying sword image. With a loud sound, he followed the small wound caused by the primary light arrow earlier, and directly penetrated the Golden Lion King's body. Boom! There was another loud sound, and he came out of the Golden Lion King's body. He was holding a golden spirit core the size of a basketball in his hand. This time, the Golden Lion King was thoroughly dead. Golden blood spurted out from the huge wound like raindrops. When it fell into the valley, it made dripping sounds. Chu Chaoyan. Xiaochen exclaimed in astonishment when he saw this person's figure clearly. Chu Chaoyan smiled faintly. The golden spirit core in his hand emitted a golden spiritual energy that soared into the sky, forming a golden ribbon. When the countless spirit beasts in the surroundings saw the spiritual energy, they flew over frantically. With a satisfied smile, Chu Chaoyan stored the golden spirit core in his spatial ring. He looked at Xiaochen and said, "I'm borrowing it. I will return it in the future." A sword of light appeared under Xiaochen's feet. He rode the sword and flew off into the distance. Xiaochen was extremely furious in his heart. This Chu Chaoyan was too despicable. Everyone worked hard for a long time, and he took away the most valuable spirit core of the Golden Lion King. Xiaochen was very dissatisfied with the fact that he only said he was borrowing it, and then flew far away. He was clearer than anyone about the horrifying spiritual energy contained in the spirit core. He used the gravity spell and chased after it. "Brother Xiao, don't chase after him." Fatso shouted from the ground. "It's over. Xiaochen is not a match for Chu Chaoyan. If we chase after him like this, it will be disastrous." Su Xiaoxiao's complexion was slightly pale. She had exhausted a lot of essence and mental energy after playing the Yellow Springs 9 Death song. She looked in the direction Xiaochen left and said, "There is no need to shout. Chu Chaoyan will not make a move on him." Fatso said hatefully, "This bastard. This is not the first time he did this. There will be a day when he will fall into this fat lord's hands." On a flat ground in the valley, Chu Chaoyan suddenly stopped and slowly landed on the ground. He looked at Xiaochen who was following behind him and said, "Brother Xiao, it was my fault for taking your spirit core today. I will return this favor to you in the future." After Xiaochen landed, he said indifferently, "If you want to take it, then take it. If you want to borrow it, then borrow it. Have you asked for my permission?" Xiaochen held the lunar shadow saber tightly as he stared at Chu Chaoyan. This Chu Chaoyan gave him a very dangerous feeling. If it were not for the fact that he was too angry, he would not have gone against this person. Chu Chaoyan smiled gently. "In this world, it has always been the law of the jungle. The strong are respected. I borrowed it, so be it. Xiaochen, I really do not need your permission." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.